Sony also rumored to have learned from years and years and years and years of mistakes and will now make movies based on Spider-Man variants like Spider-Punk, Spider-Man 2099, Spider Gwen, many more, probably Spider-Pig, Spider-Man Noir's already in the works.
Is there a dog, like a Deadpool dog? Spider-Man, Spider Dog?
Probably out there somewhere.
Playing with this giant leopard that's been hunting him
exactly
since his birth.
We got my man afraid to kill a lion.
Right.
Like, that's not Kraven the Hunter, dude.
Right.
That's Peter the PETA person, bro. That's who that is.
Halle Berry. It's not that she could not have played Storm. She did not play Storm.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Great actress. She's done some amazing things on screen. Storm was not one of them. Neither was Catwoman. You said Flash can do what when he's running? Take naps?
Take naps.
What's crazy about that is when I watched that movie, I was able to take naps during the movie. He says, I'm starting a podcast. Anyone can have a podcast. Okay. Not true. Actually, go ahead, do it. I dare you to. Start it. You'll last fucking 2 weeks. And when people don't watch your first 2 videos, you'll probably cry and pee on yourself like you are right now. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up, man?
What's up, dude?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Bro, the cold has broken a little bit.
Yeah, well,
the wind
this
chill.
week anyway.
Yeah, the wind chill stopped.
Yeah. No, dude, I got some a crazy neighbor. He hasn't fixed some shit in his yard for like ever, and he got like yellow tape everywhere, right? So every day I'm looking out, the tape is like vertical, like 90% off the poles because of the wind, dude. It's like for like a couple of weeks. No wonder everything's burning down in California.
Dude, that's crazy. And I mean, we were talking about it before we got on. Like, that's, dude, I'm not a prayer guy, but dude, it's horrible what happened out there. I really feel for those people. I mean, you're talking tens and thousands of people. Right. And it's like, I mean, Hollywood burnt the fuck down. That's insanity.
And it's not just the structures that were directly affected. Yeah. I mean, because there's a lot of indirect things too. Sure. Like, for example, if you can't get food to a supermarket, there's no food in the supermarket. It's not just the supermarkets losing revenue. It's like the people aren't eating. Yeah. And because the people aren't eating, they get sick, they can't go to work. I mean, so it's a lot. It's probably 3 to 10 times the magnitude of what's actually happening. Besides the fact that a lot of California, I mean, from the mountains to the ocean, dude, is just gone now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like I was watching something last night and they said like we still can't even like grasp how big this is, the impact of it.
Exactly.
Like, how many people are now going to have to find another place to live for some time, right? Like, it's not just, your house burnt down, now you come back and it's there again. Like, your life has changed. And it wasn't just like a block or two. There was 10,000 structures or so. I mean, thankfully, there was only a handful of casualties. It could have been a lot worse from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
And if anyone's out there, you see stupid stuff online, like, well, they're all celebrities. They could just... Dude, losing something, whether you have, $4 in the bank or $4 million, you're still lost something.
Absolutely.
And you lose things that a lot of times money can't replace, I saw Mel Gibson was on the Joe Rogan podcast as his house was burning down. Wow. Yeah, like he was saying that, my son's back there. I guess his son's like a firefighter or something, and he's sending them pictures of the neighborhood, and they confirmed after his house burnt down while he was on the podcast talking to Joe Rogan, man. Wow. So, yeah, I definitely, if y'all have anyone out there, man, we feel sorry for what's going on. It's horrible. But we're going to attempt to lift the mood, Adrian, with little Only Comics, okay? There we go. We got a lot of news. We got a fun show today, Adrian, as always. We got news and rumors coming up now. We have not Dr. Doom, that was last week. We have Black Panther versus Captain America. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. You have a hidden gem that's hidden. We will tell y'all later, so don't ask now. And we also have the season finale of Creature Commandos. We'll talk about that. And you and I revisited some Fantastic Four films of the past. We went back to the future. Or we went back to the past, I guess. There you go. So we're going to talk to...
or we just watch some old films.
That too. Dude, I like to think like I'm doing a lot more. Like I'm time traveling, you know? But we're not, though.
Yeah.
No, we're just
not doing that at all.
So, no, not at all. But in the news this week, Adrian... MCU Mutant Saga was in the news a lot. So
I thought you was going to say MC Hammer, dude.
MC Hammer. No, MC Hammer's not in the news. But the MCU Mutant Saga. So, the MCU, most of y'all know, been around since like 2008, 9. Iron Man, it kicked off, and the first big overarching story was the Infinity Saga, based on the Infinity Stones, right? Now we're in about the middle of the multiverse saga, which I would say that the feedback has not been, it's not universally loved.
Right.
I think a lot of people are a little too hard on it. We talked about that here a few months back. Like, I don't think it's been a failure. It's had some ups. It had probably more downs than, the Infinity Saga at this point, but it's not drastic.
Right.
And I think a lot of things that are set to come this year and next year seem to at least give me the feeling that we're getting back on the right track a little bit, And now after the multiversal saga, Adrian, we're going to get the Mutant Saga. So X-Men will be a big part of this. So there's a handful of rumors this week. We do know that Secret Wars is allegedly going to be the end of this multiverse saga. You and I both read both versions of Secret Wars last year. And the newer version ends with a big reboot, right? Almost like you always read Crisis of Infinite Earths type of reboot, Flashpoint Paradox. And so Secret Wars looks like it's going to reboot the MCU, which I think is great. Gives a lot of it gives the people telling stories the ability to almost tell any story they want. Right. It's a kind of fresh start, right?
Well, for me, not only that, but it also gives us an opportunity to, just put the nail on the coffin of some of these crypt keepers.
Yes.
That's been playing these roles, and start bringing out some of this new talent. So maybe we'll see a new influx of that. As well. Yep.
I sure as hell hope so. So there was basically 5 kind of rumors in one here, so just a little different this week. And one of the first one is a Midnight Suns movie will be released during the Mutant Saga. So Midnight Suns is a team of, I guess, all kind of like supernatural type characters. So the rumor is the roster of the Midnight Suns will be Wong from Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Blade, Werewolf by Night, and Man-Thing.
Oh, Sons like S-O-N.
Yes.
So Sons of the Night kind of thing.
There you go. Look at that, dude. You fucking on already, bro. We're just starting on here, dude. We start here. We don't even drop, dude. We're here the whole time. And then the villains rumored for this is Mephisto. And then Lilith. Am I saying that right?
What is it?
Lilith. Lillith.
Lillith.
Lilith. Who the hell's that?
Sounds demonic.
Yes.
I think I know who it is in reference, but I have to check.
Okay. And it says the MCU's devil will set up the team. So the actual devil from the MCU.
Of course.
Sounds cool to me.
Hey, works.
Right? I mean, you're a Blade fan, right?
Yep.
Now, what Blade will this be? I hopefully it's a new version of Blade.
Sure.
I love Wesley Snipes, and it was cool to see him back for a little bit, but unless you're doing some time like Old Man Logan type story with Blade, I don't want to see him as the Blade, you know. If he's like the old guy who's about to fucking die for some reason, hey, let him do that. Cool. Right. But I don't want to see him as like the Michael Keaton jumping out of the fucking airplane.
Right.
You know?
Well, I also don't want to see that guy that played the TV series too for like 2 episodes.
I never seen that.
I mean, I never saw it. I tried to watch it, dude. And it opened with him chasing somebody like when he was in Russia.
Yeah.
When Wesley Snipes' Blade was in Russia. Chasing down some vamps. It kind of opened like that. And it got ridiculous like immediately.
Yeah.
And it was some B-roll type I was like, I'm done, dude. I can't even watch this.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed it then.
Yeah.
But this sounds cool. I mean, I love Wong, big Wong fan.
Sure.
From the, now, he was someone I probably barely knew in the comics, but I think the MCU really elevated that character.
Absolutely.
Which goes back to what we were talking about last week with the race swapping, right?
Right.
Wong's an Asian character, right? You have him there. Don't go make Doctor Strange Chinese, you know, like build up Wong, which they've done. Moon Knight, I know you're not a huge fan of that show. I really think that character's cool. I enjoyed the show.
Oh, absolutely. Like the character. Yeah. But the show was definitely a sleeper for me.
Yeah. And which is why, I'm so glad like with the DCU, they're not going to give us origin stories from everyone. Because sometimes the origin story is not as good as just seeing that character interact with other characters. Sure. Like, it's going to be cool to see that Moon Knight interact with Wong, and then Ghost Rider. Is it going to be the Nick Cage Ghost Rider? Which, I mean, it's all CGI. Who cares? Sure. Right? Or an entirely new one.
I'm cool with the comic book character remaining the same. Johnny Blaze, but definitely, if they're gonna reboot, just reboot, dude.
Okay.
I mean, everybody else had
you don't want to see our boy Nick.
I mean, I actually like Nick Cage as Ghost Rider. But it's time to move on.
Okay. Werewolf by Night. You didn't like this, right?
No, so I don't give a shit who they change that to.
Well, I think you're gonna use that same Werewolf by Night from that one off.
Was it an actor or was it CGI?
No, it was an actor that turned into a werewolf. By night, No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I actually want to watch. There's a color version available.
Hey, watch it.
No, not colored.
Swapping.
No, not that way. Well, you can use the same water fountain, Adrian.
Okay.
But when that dropped, it was a black and white little one-off. They did release a full color version this past Halloween, but I haven't seen it yet.
You know what it was with Werewolf by Night, dude? It took like 15 minutes just to get through the maze, just the noise, the intro, and I was just tuned out.
It was a little slow. Yeah. Man Thing. What do you know about Man Thing?
Man Thing. I
feel like
it's almost like Swamp Thing, but he's weird looking, but he's like a Swamp Thing kind of.
Yes. Okay. He was like in Werewolf by Night.
Right.
Pretty sure he was in Werewolf by Night. Yeah, he's a fucking weird looking guy.
Yeah.
He is like Swamp Thing, just a lot uglier.
Yeah.
And got like an elephant trunk almost.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, this will be interesting. But I mean, dude, I'm down for different. I think that's cool. I'm all about that. Mr. Sinister is another one who's rumored to basically be one of the main villains of the Mutant Saga. Now he's obsessed with, Scott Summers, Cyclops, that whole family, Jean Grey. So I'd love for them to do Sinister and do Sinister right.
Right.
I think about what they did with High Evolutionary. And I mean, Sinister is like almost that, like sadistic, but he's pretty sadistic.
You mean like High Evolutionary in the movie?
Yes.
I didn't like that at all.
You didn't like it? No.
No, it was almost like the treatment they did with Lex Luthor, and Superman. It was just kind of over the top.
Got it.
And then they race swapped. Actually, you can't. Well, you do, but he could have been anybody because he's like behind a metallic face kind of a deal. And in the comics, he's all armored up. But just to see some angry black dude playing this guy it was crazy for me.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about last week, race swapping predominantly villains.
Right.
Which a lot of people point out, well, they race swap heroes too. Yeah, but predominantly it seems like it's a little more like if we added it up, I bet you we play one of my fun games here, Adrian, we add it up, I bet it would be like the James Gunn ratio last week.
Yeah.
But I guess that I won't jump to any conclusions here.
Nah.
Maybe when I'm bored this week, I will fucking add it up and then prove y'all all wrong. That's what I do.
In the meantime, we're just making casual observations.
Yeah, there you go. Or what was it? Educated guess. We're definitely making educated guesses here. But Sinister, are you a fan of Mr. Sinister?
I am now more so than I was before. I didn't really even. I mean, I've seen the name. Yeah. I've seen the character. But was it X-Men 97?
Yeah.
They really brought him out until Jean just kind of like cut his balls off at the end, but good, strong character.
Yeah. And he also was in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Remember he fought a fucking dude, cut his head off or whatever in Battle World. So there's that. I'm all down with that. Nova versus Annihilus.
Which Nova?
Nova, the dude.
From the Nova Corps.
From the Nova
Corps. With the helmet.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. So there's a Nova TV series that will be released during the Mutant Saga. Annihilus. What do you know about Annihilus? I feel like we've talked about him.
Yeah, he's from the Negative Zone.
Yep.
He's so when Reed and Ben went to the Negative Zone to get the Cosmorod to help Sue deliver Franklin.
Okay.
Annihilus is like a Dr. Doom in the Negative Zone.
Okay. Got it. So the rumor is he's going to fight Nova in this Nova TV series.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
That'll be a pretty good matchup, dude. Nova's strong, man.
He's badass.
He's definitely been nerfed over the years, but but so people understand first of all, there's a couple of Novas. There's this guy, Nova, which is basically he got his powers as a teenager, right?
Okay.
A male. Yep. And then there's Nova Frankie Ray, who had the same powers as Johnny Storm.
Okay. You did a hidden gem on her.
I did a hidden gem on her. And then when when Galactus came to Earth looking to feed, Reed and team defeated him, but he, and gave him enough sustenance to not let him die, but he still needed to feed. And Frankie Ray, being the adventurous person that she was like, hey, I'll become your herald. And in exchange for, not eating the earth.
Yeah.
So he empowered her with cosmic powers.
Yeah.
And then she just dumped Johnny and sped off. And that's when Johnny tried to follow her up because she was leaving to go into space.
Yeah.
And Johnny was trying to go up. And remember, all his fire, I explained last week, his fire is oxygen based.
Oh, yeah. Once he gets too high, he's done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he was flying up after her. First of all, she's so much faster than him.
Yeah.
So she started getting up. The air gets thinner, and he's like crying as he's falling back, and the flames are dousing her out. So that kind of weirdness. But anyway.
Yeah.
2 Novas, the Frankie Ray Nova, and the guy from the Nova Corps. And the Nova Corps is like the Green Lantern Corps. They're like a galactic police force kind of a deal.
Who we've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Right.
Sylvester Stallone was one of the main guys, but we've never seen Nova himself. We've just seen the Nova Corps.
Correct.
And yeah, they're definitely like some police officers for space. Like, so I'm looking forward to this. I think it sounds pretty cool. Nova TV show. Also, another rumor, we touched on this a little bit, is that after Secret Wars, the MCU is going to be pretty much a whole new world. So the rumor is we're going to get one Earth, which is how Secret Wars ended, right? The X-Men and the Fantastic Four will both occupy that Earth. There's no word on the Avengers, like where they will be in this story. But the thing about it is this is the perfect time to recast, like you said, you call them crypt keepers, but some of these older actors with younger actors, and also you could continue the role. You know what I mean? Like you could recast Chris Evans as Captain America. We had a new Captain America, but all the stuff that happened in the past can still have happened.
Sure.
It's just, it's like comics, right? They don't age in comics, so you got stories for 85 years of someone who's been 35 years old for 85 years. But I think it's a perfect opportunity to recast, like recast Black Widow, recast, Iron Man, have all these characters, T'Challa, have all these characters there versus like, oh, they're dead, we can't have them anymore. And then it would be like a soft reboot in a way.
Imagine if, what's his face has like the behind the scenes influence, like, and I'm forgetting names here. All right. So the guy that played Killmonger,
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Imagine if Michael B. Jordan had the behind the scene influence, like the kid that played Deadpool.
Yep, Ryan
Reynolds, right? And they're doing this whole multiverse reboot just to get him back as T'Challa. That'd be kick-ass.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Yep, but I would assume he probably does not.
I'm assuming he does not. Yeah. I mean, if they was going to make him some kind of villain, then sure, but no.
Right, yeah. But I hope they use that opportunity. Like, we don't need to wait for another Iron Man, for another Cap. Like, there's so many stories that we missed out on having the Fantastic Four and the X-Men separate from the Avengers. I mean, all these big events we talk about, these comics, the Secret Wars, the X-Men versus Avengers, Civil War, most of these characters are there and they interact with each other. It's very normal in a comic book story to see Daredevil pop up. Fucking Luke Cage is over here. There's Miss Reed Richards. There's Professor Xavier, even though it may be an Iron Man story. Right. Like, it's very normal.
Yep.
So I hope that with that reboot, that's what we get to.
Sure.
Another rumor, World War Hulk. You ever heard of this story in the comic?
I believe so.
It's I've never read it, but it has something to do with the government unleashing like an army of Hulks, and then obviously Bruce Banner is something he's always feared, and I guess I think he recruits other Hulks and then to fight them, kill them off, or something like that. So it's like real angry. It's the Hulk we want.
Yeah, I definitely never heard of that. The only Hulk that I've heard with Hulk and World in it is when he left Earth because everybody hated him.
Planet Hulk.
Yeah, Planet Hulk, that one.
Which we saw a little bit of in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
Yes. So this is this is the other like big name Hulk story you always hear people talk about when it comes to Hulk comics, which I do want to check out now. The rumor is we're going to be getting a World War Hulk movie, and we will see Hulk, the government unleashing their own army of Hulks, which now, in Brave New World, Captain America, which comes out in a month,
right?
The Red Hulk's going to be in that. And I would assume we might see some other Hulks there too, because if they figured out how to turn Ross into a Hulk, that means they have this technology. Correct. Now, if you remember in She-Hulk, I forget what happened with this, and if any, I'm sure someone's watching will correct me. Please do. There's a scene where they steal the blood from She-Hulk,
right?
And the goal is to use it to make more Hulks, right? So, and they do. They turn the fucking guy who she was dating into a Hulk or whatever. I wonder if that plot line will lead to the government using that blood to make, because they wanted to make soldiers with this Hulk blood. So if we're getting a World War Hulk, it could, that's a good storyline to follow up, right?
I mean, or they could have just sat back and watched Bruce smash his cousin, and they would have made all kind of Hulks just like that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that one.
No, that process is a little slow.
Yeah, they're not from the deep South, Adrian. I was kidding. No offense to anyone who's in the deep South, unless you're a cousin fucker. Anyways, but then, I guess we would assume he would recruit She-Hulk, Red Hulk, Abomination to fight these other Hulks off.
Sure.
It'd be pretty cool to see on screen. A bunch of Hulks. But here's the thing. We need the real Hulk, though.
Right.
We don't need my man who he got boo-boo. My arm hurts. I can't do anything. Yeah. We need the real fucking rage monster that's going to go out and Hulk smash people. This guy can't Hulk smash. His arm's in a sling.
Did you see What If? The Hulk What If version?
The new one?
Yeah.
I started watching it and I got bored.
Not all of it, but just the Hulk one.
I saw like half of that episode. Yeah.
Where they
the big robots and shit.
They had the big robots. Yep. And because they had to fight off a variant of these giant Hulks.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Bruce had to irradiate himself to the, infinite power.
Yep.
And do all this other kind of crap. So it was kind of interesting, but not really.
No. Yeah, I got bored. I started watching it and I'm like, and I had just watched like an episode of Creature Commandos. And I'm like, you got that, which is pretty entertaining.
Right.
And I'm watching this and I'm like, not what if, why if? Why the fuck? Why the fuck am I watching this is what I thought. But
that's exactly how I felt about Moon Knight.
Why if? So instead of what if, I'm at my own show, Adrian. Why if? Why the fuck am I watching this?
Right.
Anyways, then the last rumor with this Mutant saga is that it will culminate, and for you all that don't understand what that word means, finish, end, with Avengers versus X-Men.
Nice.
You've not read this comic story.
I have not. No.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
I've read it like once. I need to reread it. But in this storyline, Hope Summers, who is, I don't think she's Scott's daughter. I forget the exact relation, but the Phoenix Force returns to Earth. It's looking for Hope. Hope takes over the Phoenix Force, and the Avengers are like, not this shit again. Like, basically, I forget what side it was, Avengers, X-Men. One of them's like, we got to kill her.
Right.
Because the fucking Phoenix Force wants her. We know what happened the last 12 times this shit happened. So it eventually leads to a slow burn to where we do see Avengers versus X-Men. Great story. Yeah. So the rumor is that is what will end the Mutant saga. All in all, dude, from what I've heard so far, now obviously things change, things like the Batman being delayed fucking 19 years. So things change, but assuming these rumors are all true, I feel like this is a good way to follow up this Infinity Multiverse saga. I'm looking forward to the Mutant saga.
Right. Yeah, but dude, how long is it going to take, man? That's
35 years.
Yeah, exactly. I will not even be able to recognize a TV by the time this shit comes out.
That's the other. I guess that is the downfall. Like, dude, are we gonna be aware enough to even watch this stuff? Like, we're gonna be like 80 years old.
Yep.
The fucking Mutant saga. We'll still be doing this shit at like 80. These chairs will have like remote controls on them and they'll move themselves. Yeah. We won't let you guys down. We'll be here. Anyways, probably not.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman still be playing Deadpool and Wolverine. Dude, Wolverine, how old are you? Dad?
Seriously, dude. So World War Hulk, one project we talked about in here. We've talked about the rumor recently of a Hulk versus Wolverine movie. And that sounds like that is also going to happen in the Mutant saga. So it will happen. It just won't be as soon as we all would hope. Which I guess would be a good thing because it would give them time to fix Hulk Because I don't want to see Wolverine fight this version of Hulk.
No, not at all.
Be over in like 10 seconds, dude. Yep. Kill him on me. You guys, oh my God, my arm. Right. I'm injured.
And let's talk about it. Why he adjusts his glasses.
Exactly.
Come on.
Why is Hulk wearing glasses?
Why is the Hulk wearing? I was just wondering, why is the Hulk wearing glasses?
Yeah. He's got crazy regeneration, or does he have healing, or he has regeneration powers?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like fucking Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right. So, well, not quite like
is
that.
Is it as strong?
It's more like, it's definitely strong. It's more like Wolverine than it is Deadpool, because Deadpool's power isn't really regeneration. It's more like just replacement.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Hulk is like regeneration.
Okay.
Right. Because Deadpool cells aren't actually alive. They're already dead. So they just kind of like replicate and replace themselves.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's super strong, dude.
Yeah.
And probably on par or more than Wolverine's.
So he wouldn't need glasses.
He would not need glasses.
Or
a sling.
Or a sling. Yeah, so there's that lunacy. But Wolverine versus Deadpool, I mean, we've definitely talked about this movie, and I think we both are like, dude, make it. I want to see this shit.
Right.
I want to see Hulk versus Wolverine on screen. Hugh Jackman Hulk. I mean, Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Hulk CGI, so who really cares? Like, yeah, if we got to keep fucking Mark Ruffalo in there, whatever.
Nah, dude.
But you don't want that.
That's one of the reboots that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Just get rid of Ruffalo.
Well, hey, I guess that's a good sign that if it's rumored to happen in the Mutant Saga, we may see a reboot and get Mark Ruffalo out of there.
And what's crazy, Harrison Ford's the Red Hulk looks amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the chisel face, and because Ruffalo's face is all fat, you got a fat head and all that kind of stuff. And then he's not as big as the Hulk should be.
Correct.
The Red Hulk just looks awesome. Dude.
Yeah. And at first, I'm like, it looks a lot like Harrison Ford.
Right. But not really.
Yeah. But also, to your point, Harrison Ford's face fits the Hulk more than Mark Ruffalo's would.
Exactly.
So initially, I'm like, dude, the Hulk doesn't need to look like the actor. But I guess if you have a big name actor, you probably want to have his likeness in there. I understand that. But then pick someone whose face would actually look good as a Hulk. And I think Harrison Ford's does.
Yeah. I mean, they took some elements from Harrison Ford's face without making him look like they superimposed his face.
Oh, yeah, like the smart Hulk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he definitely is bigger.
Yeah.
So, that is... As much as we talk shit about Captain Falcon, I'm interested in seeing this Red Hulk on screen and them fight. And I know they're going to explain the whole, the suit with the vibranium. It's a Wakandan suit that was given to him.
That's not protecting his eyes or the bottom of his face and all the other kind of shit.
Well, if Hulk has to wear glasses, I guess we can just accept some of that.
What would be interesting is that they also use this as an opportunity to pass the torch. In other words, split those two up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody else in the wings that's going to take over as Captain America, and then he can go back being just Falcon.
Yeah,
whatever.
That'd be cool.
I mean, he can keep a suit.
Sure, same damn suit.
Yeah, just whatever.
Sony Pictures EVP Palak Patel. This is a guy who was the EVP and oversaw all of these Sony movies like Venom. Yeah. Morbius, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter. He was in charge during this whole, process. He actually stepped down. He's leaving the studio, Adrian. He's leaving the studio, and he's been named Chief Content Officer for Prime Focus Studios, so Amazon Prime's. Who knows what he's going to be doing there. But I would say that this is a good thing. This is a really good thing.
It's interesting that you said he stepped down, which is kind of like... it's not a demotion,
right?
Because no one demoted him.
Yeah.
But he chose to step out of that role, which means that when you use the word step down, that means you went lower than where you were.
Sure.
Right. So even if he moved over to this other studio, it should have been he moved from this studio to that studio, not he stepped down out of a role to go and do something else. But either way, it's good.
Sure.
It's good. I could have never heard his name in my life.
No, I never heard of this guy.
And it would have been okay.
Yeah. But I look at it as a step down because he's going from an executive vice president to a chief content officer.
Right.
Still a very reputable role, He's not the fucking intern like these guys over here doing nothing.
Right.
But it's just interesting that after this debacle with the Kraven the Hunter, like I guess that's my only question. Not that it even matters, but just because it's in the news. Why or did the failure of these movies have any impact on this decision?
I absolutely believe
it definitely looks that way.
Even if they don't admit that.
Correct. Timing, it definitely looks that way. So,
speaking of Kraven the Hunter, has it been in the theaters? Well, it might not be still in the theaters, but has it not been on streaming longer than the Joker?
It definitely has. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But I did see, it's funny you said that. I read something the other day about Kraven will be on streaming a lot sooner than most movies as well.
Right.
Not as bad as a Joker, but it will be on streaming. And that one I definitely recommend watch. Like,
yeah.
I still haven't watched Joker 2. It's on Max. It has been.
Right.
I know I told you all that I would take one for the team and watch it, but I had to watch other shitty movies this week, you know?
Right. And actually, I don't think Kraven is a shitty movie. No. Out of all the other atrocities, I think it's really better than
it's definitely one of the better
Madam
ones.
Web, the Venom crap.
Yep.
Definitely the Morbius stuff. So I would put that one first over all the other them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a shitty movie at all.
No, I think that like a lot of these movies, you know, we talked about this recently, how the directors and the writers take liberties, right? Like they change core elements. I think that is the big issue with Kraven the Hunter is all of the things they changed from the comics were worse.
Right.
Like making him all of a sudden this like animal lover. Like I know he has his connection with animals, but he's a hunter, dude.
Right.
Like the reason he started hunting people is he moved on from hunting big game. Like it was too easy for him.
Exactly.
And we got my man afraid to kill a lion.
Right.
Like that's not Kraven the Hunter, dude.
Right. And playing with this giant leopard that's been hunting him
since
his birth.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
That ain't Kraven the Hunter.
And one of many with all the buffalo and all that kind of crap. Dude.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Bro, that's Peter the PETA person, bro. That's who that is. Kraven the Hunter, PETA the Peter person. Right. Or Peter the PETA person. There you go. Yeah, I like that. We're going to rename, just we got Captain Falcon, we're going to rename him that.
Right.
Another rumor about Sony is that, and it's just funny the timing of this one, they seem to have learned from their years and years and years of making mistakes. So moving forward, the rumor says that these movies will actually focus on Spider-Man variants instead of just the villains. People like Spider-Punk, Spider-Man 2099, Spider Gwen, and many others. Sony will make movies based around those characters instead of the, hey, let's make a Green Goblin movie with no Spider-Man type shit. So about fucking time.
Right. That's acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, the real thing, the better idea would be just cash out.
Right.
Admit that you lost.
Yep.
You know, don't stop trying to win back your losses and give Spider-Man back to the adults over at Marvel.
Exactly.
And let them, now, the other thing about this guy, Palak, I'm probably saying his name wrong. He was the main contact for Sony in the negotiations with Tom Holland being able to work in the MCU. So a lot of the what he couldn't like he was the one behind that negotiation.
Okay.
So he could have also been the one that would not allow certain villains, because if a villain was in one of these Sony movies, Marvel would need their permission to put them in one of their movies. So I guess part of the feeling out there is that maybe with him out, we might see these two universes a little more connected.
Right.
So it could be a good thing. Who knows?
Sony should be the DC to Marvel, meaning give up the rights, the live action stuff to Marvel, Disney, and they just do the animation shit.
There you go.
That'll work too.
Yep.
I mean, that won't be such a pooch screw if they don't get that right. But just go and talk to DC.
Sure. You remember about a year ago on this show, I had a new nickname, Adrian. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It was...
Well, which one?
Yeah.
He who knows something?
He who is right, Adrian.
Yep.
So it happened again. It happened again, and it fucking happened again. So
what's that?
We were talking about Storm a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And recasting of Storm, because as much as, we all love Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Those of us that are honest know that her Storm was an atrocity.
Yep.
Okay. Great actress. She's done some amazing things on screen. Storm was not one of them. Neither was Catwoman. So, but I had said the actress who was in Wicked, who plays the Green Witch, name's Elphaba. Remember I said this to you? She should play Storm. I said that. Right? Yeah. You were sitting there, I was sitting here. You remember this?
Yeah, this was like, what, last week?
Like fucking, yeah, it was either last week or the week before.
But it was just last week, dude.
Probably. So
interns, check the if you about to say what I'm thinking about to say, dude. do a bug search or something.
Can one of y'all go to the mailbox and see if my check's there yet? Like shit, dude. So Cynthia Erivo is her name. Have you even seen this actress? Did I show you a picture of her?
Nah.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do this real time. So and none of this is rehearsed, by the way, guys. Someone on TikTok was like, my feeling about Adrian is either he's confused because he watches too many movies, because like, when we were doing the hit or miss, you're like, well, who's this guy? And I'm like, no, here's the thing. We don't rehearse this.
Right.
You have no fucking idea what I'm going to say to you today. No. At all.
No.
All right, so go to, laptop shot. This is Cynthia Erivo.
Wow.
Yep. Now, obviously, Storm's not bald, so there's things they can do about that. Now, you've not seen this movie, so you don't know how great of an actress she is. Here's another photo here. So, Cynthia, was being interviewed recently because this Wicked movie just came out on streaming, and they asked her what her dream, does she have a dream role? This was her response, Adrian, a week after I said this. I really want to play Storm. I know it sounds frivolous, but I think we haven't uncovered how grand she is and all of that inner turmoil that she has. So I think there's a world where we can do something like that. What the fuck did I tell all y'all? Now you have a feeling I know about, is it her look? You don't think she can pull it off?
I have a feeling about her look.
Okay.
It's not Stormy, but I've never seen this person before.
Okay.
So I don't know what her range is either.
She's phenomenal.
Then there you go. But she is definitely correct about, they haven't, really explored this character. And no one has represented her properly.
No.
Either.
Nope.
So we'll see.
The closest we got was Alexandra Shipp in the Apocalypse movie. The movie was an atrocity. And
the young Storm with the mohawk.
Yep.
Which she did go through that phase. Yeah. Because she was basically a pickpocket.
Correct.
In Egypt.
Yep. So I think that was the best on-screen representation of Storm we've seen. Leaps and bounds better than Halle Berry's version.
Right.
At least she had a real accent. At least she actually looked like Storm. Like, well, Halle Berry looked like Storm. No, she didn't. She had the white hair, but she did not look like Storm.
She was black and she had white hair, so she looked like Storm.
Exactly.
Do you know how many people, just yesterday, I'm eating breakfast with my wife, and this the waitress that pretty much always serves us, she comes up to me and she tells me this story that she was in a department store.
Yeah.
And she said hello to somebody that she swore was me. And the guy looked at her and said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. Do I know you?"
Yeah.
And she was like, she had to do like a, double take.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how often I get that comment, dude? I go through airports and people like, "Are you?" I'm like, dude, my first question is he in trouble? So my point is, skin tone, hair color does not make a particular person.
Correct. Yeah. All black people don't look alike.
Imagine that.
They used to do it. So my son, he's half black.
Yeah.
And he's got like the blowout, big curly hair up top. And there's another kid in school that has the same haircut. Similar complexion.
Right.
But their faces, nothing about them looks the same. Okay.
Right.
And they both run the basketball team. This kid's a grade lower. And all the teachers they always confuse them for each other. I'm like, ain't that some shit?
Wow.
Yeah,
dude.
but that's the other stuff.
The Matrix need better random number generators.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, come on, dude.
Right. Nothing alike, dude. Nothing. Outside of the hair.
Even though, you know, this is a good mold to make other people that look like
Absolutely, yeah. That's what it is, dude. That's probably what it is. But going back, the reason, so outside of the fact that I've seen her acting, she's amazing. She's got range. She's just very good at projecting emotion through the screen. Like, she's phenomenal.
Okay.
The fact that she respects the character this way and understands the character makes me want her to play Storm even more.
Got it.
Because I think a lot of times, you know, you see with these movies and characters, when the portrayal isn't great and when the movie isn't as satisfactory to some of us real comic fans, not just the general public, it a lot of times it goes back to the person being in charge not being a comic book fan.
Right. Well, a lot of it also is like, what's her face that plays Captain Marvel, right?
Yep.
As many comments as we made about her, I still can't get her name right, but
Brie Larson.
She always looks like she doesn't want to be in that role.
Correct.
Halle Berry. It's not that she could not have played Storm. She did not play Storm.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying? So she could have made that role her own, but she was just there because there had been bad movies where there was an actor or actress in that movie that just killed it, and they got recognized for that portrayal, and then they went on to do better things. These people just chose to sleepwalk through their roles.
Right. I mean, we were talking about Kraven. One of the highlights of that movie is Kraven.
Right.
The actor, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, did a great job portraying that character.
Right.
You know, the story had its faults. It just never really, it just felt like it never got into that next gear. It wasn't, like your point, it wasn't horrible.
Right.
But it never got to the next level. But his portrayal of that character was great.
Absolutely.
You know? And we're going to talk about Fantastic Four movies later. The third Fantastic Four movie with Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm.
Yep.
I was reading that the director didn't even want to read any Fantastic Four comics. Like, he didn't want to know anything about the comics. It's like it shows, like, because you just want to tell some story and fill it in with comic characters.
Right.
And I get, like, you can't appease every comic book fan, and you don't have to keep everything exactly like it is in the comics. Then you'd be like, well, then just read the comics. But you have great stories. You have these great characters, these great portrayals. You should really put the people in charge of telling these stories should be someone who are actually fans of these characters.
Right.
Not, oh, you're going to play Captain America agent? Here, why don't you read some Cap stuff and figure out who he is?
Yeah.
Like, Ryan Reynolds always wanted to play Deadpool.
Right.
You know, it's the Russo brothers. They've always wanted to make a Secret Wars movie. So outside of all the news, the Robert Downey Jr. coming back, Doom, all this great stuff, the reboot, I think one of the best pieces of news for me is the fact that the Russo brothers are directing that, because it's been a passion project of theirs, because they absolutely love those comic stories.
Right.
So yeah, she understands the fucking Storm character better than whoever wrote those X-Men movies.
Yeah, clearly nobody understood that.
No, fuck no. Moving on, T'Challa, Adrian. We almost had some good news this week, dude. We almost had some good news. So there was two rumors. The first rumor was, and the people even commenting on the page, they're listening to you guys. Look, the rumor that broke earlier in the week was Marvel was going to recast T'Challa. Finally.
Okay.
That was the rumor. And then there was a follow-up to that. So it's not an actual recast, but they are going to recast his son, you know, the new T'Challa, as an older actor. So we're getting like half of it, which is unfortunate. Just recast T'Challa. So I'm assuming with Secret Wars and all that, there's going to be some type of reboot, right? Probably a time jump for certain characters. Because if it's a complete reboot,
perfect time to just drop another T'Challa in.
Why not just do that? Why do we have to continue the son story?
Right.
It's stupid.
Right.
Oh, he's dead. He's got this, you know, this bastard son that's born, and like,
oh my God,
his name is guess his name, T'Challa. Oh my God. Like, why not just bring T'Challa from Earth, freaking, you know, 8051? Make him Michael B. Jordan.
There you go.
Or make him what's the guy's name? Adonis Hodge, or the guy who plays Hawkman in Black Adam.
Right.
He's another one.
Yeah.
Would be perfect for that. And then there's also plenty of other actors.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, there's more than 4 black actors. Did you know that?
No, because I don't see them.
It's not just Denzel. It's not just Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson. There are other black actors out there.
Wow, dude.
But yeah, so this news to me is very unfortunate.
You know, again, you know why they doing that, right? Again, who's T'Challa? King of a country, the most technologically advanced country on the planet. He is the single richest person across both comic brands, Marvel or DC.
Right.
I mean, they can't have that.
Nope. No, God, no. Why would they want to do that? So anyway, well, that is the news this week, Adrian. Not much from DC. Wow. Actually, I don't think there was anything from DC this week. So
what's DC?
No, they were still riding high on that Superman trailer. So now, speaking of though, all right. Where the fuck's the Fantastic Four trailer? Now it's your turn, Marvel. I've had enough.
Right.
I've had enough of the wait. I need to see this shit. They just dropped the season 1 of Marvel Rivals. They added Mr. Fantastic to the game. They added Invisible Woman to the game with some very interesting skins, by the way.
Right. And I think they're also going to add a variant of Reed Richards as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's already in there. Maker.
Okay,
Maker. From the Secret Wars.
Yep.
So you can buy that cost. So that's the stuff you can purchase if you want. It's like, I don't know, $5 or something. So
nice.
And then the other one, Malice, who is Invisible Woman's like,
Right.
So anyways, that dropped this week. So we're getting some Fantastic Four, exposure. We need the trailer, Kevin. Enough's enough already. What we're going to do before we see that trailer that hasn't dropped, we're going to do a little thumbs up, thumbs down, Adrian. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So if you're new to the show, we had a lot of new viewers last week. It's our actually most watched podcast out of our last like 10 or 15 videos. So
nice.
All y'all newcomers, welcome. If you're new, thumbs up, thumbs down is where we recap the news and rumors, and we just give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. We're very loose with the rules here, right?
Yep.
So are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, number 1. The MCU Mutant Saga rumored to include Midnight Suns, Nova vs. Annihilus, Mr. Sinister, World War Hulk movie, and they're going to end it all with Avengers versus X-Men. Assuming all that's true, I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Sony Pictures EVP Palak Patel, who oversaw the Spidermanless Spider-Man Marvel movies for Columbia Pictures, is leaving the studio. I think that deserves a thumbs up. Sony also rumored to have learned from years and years and years and years of mistakes and will now make movies based on Spider-Man variants like Spider-Punk, Spider-Man 2099, Spider Gwen, many more, probably Spider-Pig, right. Spider-Man Noir's already in the works.
Is there a dog like a Deadpool dog? Spider-Man, Spider Dog?
Probably out there somewhere.
No, it'd be an octopus, dude.
There you go. There you go. So who knows? Maybe they'll make one on Spider Octopus. But I because they finally learned, I give them a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
My moniker,
assuming they have learned.
Correct.
We will see.
We will see. A moniker of mine is coming back, Adrian. I was called He Who Is Right last year around the Loki. I predicted the Loki 2 finale.
Yeah.
I said a couple weeks ago that this person should play this character. And then in the news this week, Cynthia Erivo, hey, fix that, please. Why? They fucking me up, dudes. They're over there taking a nap again.
There you go.
Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba in Wicked, reveals her dream role is to play Storm.
Nice.
Is that a thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
And also, I give it a thumbs down because where's my money? I called this show. I said this 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's a different segment. So that's not on news and rumors.
Okay,
that's the reality thing.
Gotcha.
So that's a separate
That's the
thing.
other stuff. Yeah, you're right.
We'll
get back to that. Yeah, someone's going to keep me on track here, Adrian, and it's not going to be them out there, so it has to be you. Marvel did not listen to us. Instead of recasting T'Challa, they are rumored to replace T'Challa with an older version of his son from Wakanda Forever. I give this a thumbs down.
Yeah, definitely a
huge thumbs down. Just recast. I even said you don't even have to explain this one.
Exactly.
Literally take Michael B. Jordan, make him T'Challa, and when someone asks about him, tell him to shut the fuck up and enjoy it. That's
it.
As The Rock says, just enjoy this ride that I'm taking you on. So that is thumbs up, thumbs down. we, Adrian, are going to move on. So I threw a monkey wrench in our plans, okay? So we have a segment called Hit or Miss Cast.
Okay.
Now, I've watched our Hit or Miss Cast segment, and I think that the question I'm asking, I think it's an unfair question. I think that instead of asking if the person was a hit from a casting standpoint or a miss from a casting standpoint, and also a lot of your answers are usually based on their performance, right? A lot of times you say things like, we've never seen this character before, so this is my only reference, looks great. So I figured we would rename the segment a little bit, okay? So we're going to call it Cook or Cooked. Okay, so this is the slang, so I'm gonna fill you in, right?
All right.
There's, we've heard this before.
Let this man cook,
right? Let this man cook. So that would be you're doing something good. If I'm cooking, like when we're on this podcast every week, Adrian, we cook. Okay,
right.
Some of these people out there with their stupid comments, they would be cooked. Okay, cooked is like you're done, you're finished.
Right,
you're cooked. Right. So my question to you this week will be: these actors and actresses I name, their portrayals, in your opinion, did they cook or were they cooked?
Gotcha.
Got it? So it's a little better, right?
Yeah.
For the new year, Adrian. Bring the new year with a new segment. So this is, we're going to be like, the exits on the highway when they change them. You got the old number, the new one. So we're going to use both names right now, but this is now cooked. Or cook or cooked, okay?
Got it.
So TikTok slang too. While TikTok's still around for the next 4 days.
Right.
Hey, just if y'all are on TikTok watching us, go over to YouTube and follow us. If because Donald Trump may have lied to us, believe it or not.
Possibly.
I know it's crazy, right, to even say that. But
not the Donald lying.
Yeah, no, God no. And not even a politician in general lying. So yeah. But he said he would save TikTok because he's watching too, obviously. Because I think once he saw that we were on TikTok, he's like, that's how I'm gonna win the election. Right. Because these guys are doing it there. So anyways, I don't have a check from him either, do you? No. So if he doesn't save TikTok, y'all need to hop over to YouTube and follow us and get these same shorts there. But here we go, Cook or Cooked. And this, I actually did something a little special this week. So now we're going to talk about Fantastic Four movies in a little bit. You rewatched the first one.
Yep.
I watched all 3 of them. You've seen the other 2.
Correct.
So I have 10 casting choices this week, or 10 performances. And they're all from these movies. So the first 5 are from the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. And the second 5 are from that reboot that happened in 2015. So I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, when I give you these names, the portrayals of these characters, did they cook or were they cooked?
Okay.
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1, Ian Gruffud as Reed Richards.
Cooked.
Yes, I agree. Jessica Alba as Sue Storm.
Cook.
She cooked. Yeah.
So
she cooked, or was the performance cooked?
She cooked.
She cooked. Okay.
So I can cut this list short.
Okay.
Jessica Alba, she cooked. The other 10 questions you're going to ask, they were cooked across all the shows.
Okay. Well, for sake of our audience to interact.
Sure.
Chris Evans is Johnny Storm.
Actually, I wouldn't say he cooked, but he cooked more than he was cooked.
Okay. So, he cooked, right?
Sure.
All right. He cooked. Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm.
He was cooked.
Yeah. Julian McMahon as Victor Von Doom.
That was one of those things where we had never seen him before, and I said he did okay because of what. But still, after rewatching this, he was cooked.
He was cooked. Okay. Now this is the second or the third movie.
Yep.
Miles Teller as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
He was cooked.
Damn. Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm.
He was cooked.
Kate Mara as
she was cooked.
Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm.
She was cooked. He was cooked.
And Toby Kebbell as Von Doom.
He was cooked.
So the only 2, in your opinion, that really cooked were Jessica Alba as Sue Storm and Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Correct.
Yeah, so the 2 Storms.
Yep. The brother and sister duo.
Wow. Yep. Okay. Well, there you have it. Cook or cooked. So hopefully now TikTok, they understand this lingo, Adrian. You're a quick adapter. You just picked up that nomenclature like that and put it to use.
Increase my vocabulary by 1.
Dude, look at that. You learn things on this show.
Absolutely.
So
we all learn together.
Absolutely.
Me, you, and our audience.
All you guys. Yep. So, but some of them don't though. It's okay though.
I was trying to be nice.
we won't hold that against them though. They can still watch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna kick them out of the show. You know. That's Cooker Cook. So let us know if you have seen these Fantastic Four movies, what you thought about them. And I think it's probably a good segue to get into the Fantastic Four. So this is a movie that it originally dropped in 2005. I don't remember this movie in its entirety. I think the last time I saw any of it was probably in 2005, to be honest. Seeing it again and seeing it in full, first of all, it felt very CW-ish.
Okay.
It felt like it just could have been released, straight to DVD, as you say. Sure. It felt like it was a made-for-TV movie. It was, I think that of the two Fantastic Four movie or series, well, it's not a series, this one has two, the reboot. Between this one and the reboot, I think it felt more true to comic, but it still wasn't that great.
No.
I like seeing things like the Baxter Building. I like seeing Doom in the armor. I like seeing some of the powers and stuff. They were cool. But as a whole, I think this movie was a major miss, dude. Yeah,
the stupid stuff was, well, first of all, the Thing is much larger than Michael Chiklis is kind of a regular sized dude anyway. That whole bridge thing. I mean, first of all, everybody's stopping it in. You got the cab driver coming in at 210 miles an hour.
The bridge scene was outrageous.
Right. The fire truck. I mean, you see a bunch of people stopping. Yeah, you're gonna come up at 90 miles an hour.
Correct.
And even at 90, that wouldn't have given that end of the engine that momentum to slam through all of those bridge guards and all this. It's just ridiculous. Dude.
Yeah. I think that was, I took some notes as I was watching it, and the one I have here is the bridge scene is crazy.
Right.
The explosions, because in the beginning it was very just dialogue based. It seemed very chill. Then they get to the bridge and it's like they spent all of the budget on that scene.
Right.
Everything's blowing up.
Right.
Fucking cars are going here. People it just went from 0 to 100. Right. It was insanity.
Yep. And then, I don't think I could have hated anybody more on that show than the girlfriend. She just went off on him immediately. Oh my God. Just complete rejection.
Girlfriend?
Yeah. Ran away from him. Didn't even try to talk to him.
No.
Dropped the ring on the ground. Then he was embarrassed. He couldn't even pick it up.
Right.
It was just everything. I would have just, that was horrible. That was horrible. And then Doom. They gave him the Spider-Man treatment.
Yep.
His armor didn't grow out of his skin.
Oh, my God. Dude. That was ridiculous.
Come on. And then he put armor on top of that. Come on, man.
You're why is he turning metal?
Exactly.
When they do stuff like that, I just wonder why.
As a matter of fact, he wasn't even in the station.
No.
In the comics to get these powers. So why did he come up with that garbage?
Right. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Couple things that were good. I abso-fucking-lutely love Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was that good.
Yeah.
His I don't give a fuck attitude, his just the obnoxious kid brother, it was perfect.
Right. That I think that portrayal was the more true to comic out of most portrayals of these comic book characters.
Yeah.
Because he's a kid, he's mischievous, and he did exactly all of those things. Right.
Yeah,
the interaction with the Thing.
Yep.
That was their relationship.
Correct. Oh yeah, he's always messed with him in the comics. Yep. But yeah, I think kudos to Chris Evans. It makes even more sense now that they brought him back in Deadpool Wolverine. Good. I like to see him show up again as Human Torch in this. If you're doing Secret Wars and all that, why not, dude?
Sure. Reverse the Botox though.
Yeah, I don't know if they can just suck it out like that. Who knows?
I don't know.
But yeah, Johnny Storm was great. Sue Storm, phenomenal. Jessica Alba, dude, in the comics, Sue Storm is hot.
Yeah.
Right? That's her character. Partly why Doom wants her and why Namor wants her and may have had her a few times. And, everybody wants her.
Yep.
Perfect casting.
Yep. Yeah. I think Black Panther got up in that. That's why they don't want to cast him anymore.
Damn, once you go black, you don't go back, Adrian. I heard that somewhere. The thing, it looked okay-ish, but it looked weird though. Like he was a lot smaller than Thing.
Yeah.
And at times it looked like he just threw on like a costume. Like I know it's a costume, but it looked too fake at times.
Right.
And something about the eyes didn't look right. Like you definitely could tell it was a mask versus like prosthetics and whatever. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe it was the best they could do at the time. But I didn't really like that dude playing Thing.
No.
Like a chickless.
No. I mean, the only thing I've ever seen him that I liked him in was in The Shield.
Okay.
The cop show back in the day. I mean, that show pretty much changed TV. I think drama on TV. I mean, he was a complete dick in that movie, in that show. Outside of that, I mean, he played like a comedy show or something. I didn't even watch that, but this thing, right? Nah, definitely not.
I didn't really care for your boy's Reed. I think the accent was pretty damn bad throughout. Like it was almost
but I don't think anybody really. They've never really heard Doom, so they don't really
Doom. Reed.
You say Doom or Reed?
Reed.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
Okay, I just thought like you could tell he had a very bad American accent. You know, for whatever it's worth.
And most foreigners can do pretty well with the American accent. You don't even know, like Henry Cavill. You ever heard him talk?
Yeah,
man, he sounds like a 9-year-old on helium or something.
Hugh Jackman with his Australian accent. You would never be able to tell. Yeah, it was like Sophie Turner-ish, honestly. I can see why he hasn't been in anything in a while.
Sophie Turner, you are now verb. You've been Sophie Turnered.
Yes. Yeah. If you can't pull off the American accent, you are Sophie Turner. That's, yep, you heard it here first. The Doom was just weird. It was way too, like, you talking about, Batman being emo. He's way too emotional, way too soft to be Doom. It felt like one of those, like, TV show villains,
right?
And I could not get past the damn arm turning into metal and all that shit.
Yeah. I mean, and also the math is not mathing, right?
Yeah.
So if you have metal in your skin, then you got metal on your body, and then Johnny goes supernova, which he should have took out the whole city, which is what the supernova is. I mean, Sue, she's just learning her power. She can do that.
Yeah.
And hint, we'll get into that later.
Right.
But she can contain that level of power.
Yeah.
But so you got Doom's armor melting on him. He should have cooked inside of the armor. Yeah. Number one. He's not going to be alive looking out. I mean, also, he had nothing over, just like Captain Falcon. He has nothing over the mouth slits, over the eye slits. He should have cooked inside that armor.
Right.
Instead of, just solidifying the armor with the hot and cold, and then they're going to put him in a container. How long is it going to take to get, they didn't say where he was going, probably Latveria.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
How long does it take to get that? 13 days. Come on, dude. You're not going to feed the man for 13 days. He's on a container ship with 10,000. The math ain't math.
No. And then he's just sitting in a damn container until the second movie when Silver Surfer shows up.
Right.
Like that. So yeah, this, dude, that you got the bridge scene. So going back to that lunacy, everything's blowing up. Everything, explosions, cars, this, that. 2 seconds later, they're all in the news. Like, hey, we're the Fantastic Four. Like, really? Had another note here. Doom burns a hole through the company guy. Like, he's arguing with it, just like, bam. I don't know. And then the blind actress, well, she's not blind. Kerry Washington plays Alicia.
Right.
Okay. Maybe it's because I'm watching Daredevil right now. That was some of the worst blind acting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
She's blind, but she's looking at him right in the eye. She like, come on, dude. She did a lot better in the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's that projection.
Yeah.
Because like Daredevil, he looks at you, but he still looks like he's blind.
Correct.
She's looking away to imitate. Blind people don't do that.
No.
Well, actually, I don't know what blind people do or how they look at you now, but I'm assuming that they turn their face toward the noise or the voice, right? She's looking away, imitating his eyes. So that was off. But
she's like looking for stuff. Like
exactly. But Cox, he looks at you and he looks like he's blind. So it's that inner,
like, I don't need to see his cane to know he's blind.
Right.
I didn't know she was blind until I saw the cane.
Yeah.
I just like, why is she like acting like this? Which I will say, because I unfortunately I did watch all 3 movies in the same night, Adrian. Wow. Yeah.
You love that torture stuff.
I'm a little masochist, Adrian. But I will say that in the second movie, she did a much better job. So someone probably told her, like, what the fuck you looking at, dude? Like, you're blind. You shouldn't be looking at anything. You're blind. Pretend you're blind. But yeah, Charlie Cox, it's like, you don't even, split second, you're like, oh yeah, dude's blind. To the point where I read this, I think I shared this with you. There was a movie role, I forget what it was, but they did not give him the role because they said it looked like he was spacing out or something, like he couldn't focus. Because I'm like, yeah, because he's so used to acting blind.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty bad. And yeah, the end was just, to your point, the math was just off. It was cool though. Like looking back, I try to kind of bring myself back to that point, 2005. So there was a couple Spider-Man movies. There was a couple X-Men movies.
Right.
There was no MCU to even be thought of yet. It was cool to at least see the Fantastic Four on screen. It was cool to see Sue Storm, Johnny Storm. And then, even as much as Reed actor was annoying, he kind of looked the part, and then the powers, was pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing I learned, though, about Reed is, I know you're a big Reed Richards fan.
Yeah.
The powers are kind of gross.
Yeah.
They're kind of like weird looking at times. Like, so I'm very interested to see how they pull that off in the new movie with the technology now and not make it look like a little,
like it did in 2005?
Yes. Yeah. So now you did not rewatch these other 2, but since I did, I want to point out some observations of mine, Adrian. I did enjoy the second Fantastic Four movie over the first one. Silver Surfer one.
Yeah, so did I. For one primary reason. But back to the first one right quick. It was cool to see Chris Evans play Johnny Storm. It was amazing to see Jessica Alba play Sue Storm. I mean, yeah, let's not go
perfection.
There. Perfection. That's a good word. That's a good word. Now, I think Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, pretty much carried the first show.
Absolutely.
And Jessica Alba was definitely the eye candy in that.
Correct.
But you got 2 pretty people, and then you got the Thing, and then you got Reed with his nonsense, right?
Right.
But I think the thing that took over for the second one was that Hemi-powered Fantastic Car. That was a pretty cool. Yeah. That was a pretty cool toy.
Yep. Yeah, it was kind of funny though how it was like a like obviously product placement, right?
Right.
It's a Hemi, of course.
Exactly.
Like dude, Reed Richards would just build his own engine, but sure. But it was really cool to see. And the Silver Surfer, that was awesome.
That when he went through the board when he was flying,
yes,
that was a cool scene.
Yep. Yeah, all the Silver Surfer shit was really cool, and we got to see Doom at least looking properly in the second film.
Right.
Because in the first one, you got the nonsense with the metal, and then he's got the mask, but it's not really the Doom mask. It's close, but it doesn't hit like the one in the comics. But then we see him powered up because in the second movie, when he comes in contact with Silver Surfer's board or whatever, he absorbs that power. And we almost get a God Emperor Doom style of Doom for a second.
Right.
Because there's a lot of white power, right? So it kind of... You don't see the green as much, and he's super powered up. So,
what kind of power?
White power, Adrian. And we also see Latveria in the second movie, and then you have that. So, the atrocity of the Galactus cloud,
man,
holy shit, dude! I did not realize how horrendous and just insane that was.
Yeah.
The cloud, a big ass cloud.
It's like they ran out of money and they just had to come up with an alternative, something at the end to represent Galactus, which is just, I mean, they should have made the end scene first and then built the rest of the movie around that.
Absolutely.
Dude. I mean, you can't, it's insane. I don't even want to talk about it.
Dude, it's just who sees that and goes, yeah, let's put that out. It's a good idea. Like multiple people had to approve this.
Right.
Now we were a lot younger back then. I was just 2 years out of high school, so I couldn't have advised them like I'm offering now.
Right.
But now we can fix all that,
Correct.
But honestly, watching these movies has me more excited for the new Fantastic Four.
Sure.
Because of what they can do, whether or not it's the perfect movie, great. I think it will be really good. But the technology they have now, and also they know how to really pull from the comics and deliver. I feel like they've gotten a lot better at taking these liberties and changing unnecessary things.
Right. I mean, I'm just surprised that they haven't used, like we talk a lot about, not a lot about, but we're getting more into gaming, right? And we talk about, what is the Real Engine 5 they're using now?
Yeah, Unreal 5.
To generate these characters and stuff. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dude. And I just wish they would make an animated movie. They could even make a live action movie now.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Well, they use it in live action movies. Unreal Engine 5.
No, really?
Yeah, for the backgrounds.
Okay. So, but what I'm saying is, I think probably by the time the new Batman comes out, they will probably have a character that's artificially generated that would be a standard character. Like it would be like a Sam Jackson AI generated character that they would use across all movies and stuff, right?
The technology's there, dude.
Absolutely. But I don't understand why they got the shit show that that they make the Hulk out of and not use the Real Engine generators to make these characters. And because I wish they would make a movie like they make the game commercials. Like, seriously, dude. I mean, phenomenal stuff. But then they shit on everything else in the actual movie.
Right. Dude, the one you pulled up the other day, that's from a game that's like 10 years old.
The Justice League thing? Yeah.
Yep. It's from the DC Universe, big MMO game that DC put out. The game graphics are not that great, but the cutscenes are phenomenal.
I mean,
and that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. And that was like, 8 to 10 minutes long?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a quarter of some of the movies that's come out now.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. Now they have started using Unreal Engine in shows. I think it started with The Mandalorian. So, and I don't know all the technical terms, but before someone goes, you never set foot on the movie set. No, I haven't. Fucking, Quentin Tarantino out there. But instead of green screen, what they do are these giant domes, LED walls. So in the Batman, the scenes like when they're on the skyscraper, or well, not skyscraper, they're on the rooftop and you see the sunrise and all that stuff. That's not green screen. That's not like a real sunrise. That's this giant freaking LED dome. They use Unreal Engine because Unreal Engine 5, one of the biggest new additions to this is they can include photorealistic elements. So instead of creating it, and you can take a picture of some shit, drop it in, and it will be photorealistic. So they build those backgrounds, and because they're LEDs, it almost emulates the real sunlight. Okay. So you see like the red, lights and shit on Batman. That's not like computer. That's the fucking lights from this giant dome. They did that in The Mandalorian to build those backgrounds. So they're starting to. Right. But to your point, if they can do that with the backgrounds, because when you watch that, you probably think that's a real, sunset. Right. You don't think it's CGI.
Well, the only thing they're doing is taking, since the world is flat, right? They're just taking the simulation that they're using to create the sun, right?
Right.
And the moon.
Same one.
And then bringing it into the TV and stuff.
Yeah.
All that nonsense.
Definitely. But I guess, to that, your point, why not do the same thing with a character now or a whole entire movie in Unreal Engine 5? Yeah. So, in our spare time, maybe we'll make one.
Yeah. Come on, dude. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. I mean, we're influencing people. We're dropping knowledge on people. Yep. I mean, we got to do intern work. Come on. Seriously. We don't have time to also create movies, dude. No. Oh, maybe we should just write a couple movies. It don't take us, 5 or 10 minutes?
Absolutely. Well, according to James Gunn and Matt Reeves, it takes 9 years. Speaking of, is your coffee empty? Can one of these guys get you some more coffee?
For real, dude.
Jesus. We actually had a handful of people over the past month reach out, get some messages on TikTok and stuff. They're like, we would love to send you guys some Dunkin' Donuts cards or Starbucks cards. I definitely would appreciate that. But what I would say is save your money because coming real soon on YouTube, we are going to do an only comic subscription. Right. It'd probably be something like cost of a cup of coffee, $5 a month or something. And we will do an additional podcast a week, right? Something a little shorter. Right. But it would be more of the other stuff, a little more adult, more. So this one, to our bus driver friends out there, you definitely can't play that motherfucking shit on your bus. No. And also we're working on this. This is preview, let you know what's coming in the future. And if you're watching going, hey, dude, I'd love to see more of this, more of that, let us know. We are a fan-pleasing show here, Adrian.
Absolutely.
But I also watched the other two Fantastic Four movies. So talked about Silver Surfer a little bit. The 2015 one, dude. I'd never seen this. This is a weird fucking movie, bro. You remember this movie?
Not much of it. I know he was there. The Doom the Galactus atrocity in the background. Doom trying to steal Surfer's powers.
Yep.
Right.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the reboot with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, the most recent
I don't remember that at all.
Okay. This is the one where Doom is like some emo computer nerd kid, right? They're all younger, much younger version. They're teenagers. And Reed, as a kid, creates something for a science fair that actually is like a helps you teleport, right? Move matter from one thing to the next. He thinks he's moving it to a different location here, but it's actually an alternate timeline. And we actually find out it's actually the negative zone, right? So when he gets older, NASA, and I'm jumping through a lot of shit. This ain't a fucking movie recap. But they being the Fantastic Four minus Sue Storm, she stays back. Doom is actually, they teleport themselves to the negative zone. And that's where they get their powers. That storm happens, they try to come back, and it's a very odd version of the Fantastic Four.
Actually, I'm intrigued enough to go watch it again now.
Yeah, it's weird. All of these movies are, I wouldn't say they're horrible. They're good in some ways and really bad in others.
So are they Madam Web-ish?
Oh, no, they're better than Madam Web.
Or Craven the Hunter? Or...
They are Venom-ish.
Oh, wow.
Badly entertaining.
Got it.
Which you've coined that phrase here.
Hey, badly entertaining.
Yes. So they're all three of them are badly entertaining in different ways.
Wow.
But yeah, I wasn't sure about the third one. I read like the synopsis and and I read some of the reviews. I'm like, I'm actually intrigued by this. So it was a different take on the Fantastic Four. It's almost like if you didn't name it Fantastic Four, it could have been anything. It could have just been some type of, space movie. I will say this, the Thing in that movie looks 100 times better than, that was 2015, so they had the technology.
Sure. 10 years later.
Yeah. But it was interesting. They actually, the government turns Thing into like some war machine, no pun intended. After he comes back from the negative, they kind of break up. Fantastic Four Reed's like a fugitive now, because they broke the rules. They built this machine, and the whole time they're thinking that, well, we're going to be the ones to go explore because we built it, right?
Right.
And they're like, no, we're going to have NASA. These guys go do it. And then they kind of, in Doom, he wants it to be known as legacies. Basically, like, that's bullshit, because the people that get remembered are not the ones that built the thing. He's talking about like Neil Armstrong.
Right.
The ones that step foot on the moon are the ones that you always remember, go down in history.
Exactly.
So they get this idea, well, fuck it, we'll just go before they do.
So if Neil Armstrong was the first person to step foot on the moon, who was recording him stepping onto the moon?
The real first person that doesn't get
I'm
credit.
just saying.
Yeah. Well, depending on who you ask, it was Stanley Kubrick in Hollywood, and they filmed it on a green screen. So who knows? But yeah, I think that's a valid point. Like, people have brought that up. Like, of course, the cameraman ain't gonna get credit, dude.
Right.
Yeah, but he's out there first.
Exactly.
Yep. How'd they get that phone call though from the White House to the moon? Like, with better reception than I get with Verizon in 2025. How'd that work out?
You're not saying much, but with Verizon, dude.
But my point is,
I got you.
They're crystal clear.
Yeah.
How do they call the moon like that? So you got a payphone up there? Anyways, that's the other stuff. So you get more of that type of shit. We might even put our fucking tinfoil hats on that podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely would love to hear your take on that third Fantastic Four movie. Very different, darker, not horrible. The Doom also is an atrocity. This is the one where he's got like the green powers going through him, and it's just like Dr. Doom is such an awesome fucking character.
Right.
Just give us that character.
Yep.
Don't do any of this nonsense.
Yep. There you go.
Like, you
don't have to do much.
No.
Just have Doom show up.
Right.
And let him do Doom shit.
Yep.
And that's that. You don't have to make up all this other crap.
I almost wonder if they know or knew at the time how awesome Doom is and didn't want him to be like, they didn't want like the Joker effect from Dark Knight.
Right.
That movie, people, I love it. I do. It's a great movie. Mm-hmm. But what do most people love about it? Joker. Which is fine.
Right.
But maybe they didn't want that, so like we have to ruin Doom so that you don't like him that much. I don't know. But it's definitely a disservice, and it just makes me, again, more excited about where we're going with this multiverse story. Avengers Doomsday, Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom. After seeing these guys attempt to play Doom, it has me more excited about seeing Robert Downey Jr. play Doom.
Right. I think that the reason that these characters have captured our attention and our minds and hearts is because they are so good at being what they are.
Yeah.
The Joker, now the Penguin, Sophia, all this other kind of stuff, right? So let them shine. Mm-hmm. It's okay because the Fantastic Four is a family. They're going to do family shit for the most part.
Yep.
Then you got Doom coming in and just messing up everything.
Right.
That is what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
Let him shine, dude.
And
what you going to do with Galactus next time? Make him another thunderstorm or something?
Make him a wave. On, dude. Make him a big fucking typhoon. No, that is something I did see from the leaked trailer. Galactus is Galactus, dude.
Got it.
They got his he's like on Earth, maybe on Earth, but he's looking in like a skyscraper, and his head is like the size of half the fucking building. Like it's
with his eye or something is like the size of the window. The window,
yes,
right.
Which is awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like, or at least it appears as if they're gonna nail that. I did like going back to the second movie. That scene when Human Torch and Silver Surfer are like, or I think one of them's chasing the other one through the subway and all that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Even at the time that movie came out, and I don't know, 7 or 8 or something like that.
It's like the Men in Black shit.
Yeah.
In the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
The worm.
Yep. Yeah, but that was, so we definitely got to see some cool shit there. Right. And again, I really hope that they do them right in Fantastic Four First Steps. And everything we've seen so far, at least leads me to believe that they will.
And Surfer's going to be a girl, right?
Yeah, yep. Julia Gardner from Ozark. Curly hair chick.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at this point, fuck it ever, dude.
Listen, we can't be right all the time. We can't give them all kind of advice and they're going to take it.
Right.
I mean, we know they're taking some of it.
Yes. So. Yeah, they're not going to listen to everything.
Right.
As long as they don't make Galactus a black cloud now. That'd be race swapping. We're making a black cloud, Adrian.
I was going to point this out earlier. Alicia... Yeah, they race swapped her.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I mean, she's not even a villain,
right? Not even a villain. Yeah, every once in a while, they get one in there. So, going back to the first Fantastic Four, rewatching it, Adrian, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give that movie?
Jesus,
yeah,
probably 4.5, 5.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
Yeah. I mean the stuff, the great things were the brother sister. Duo. The bad things were the math just didn't.
Yeah, just about everything else. Yeah,
Doom in the suit at the end. The bridge thing. The fact that they tried to. First of all, Victor was on the satellite to begin with, which he wasn't in the original one. And then somehow that culminated into him leaking metal out of his body and attracting electricity and punching holes in the doorman. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you put it like that, well, there you have it. We definitely have probably the best reviews for movies on the internet right now.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, it'll be a whole show one day. We'll just go into movie reviews. They got, remember Siskel and Ebert when we were young?
Yep.
They gave it 2 thumbs up. They were like, Mike and Adrian says that shit fucking sucks.
That's it.
Like that. So moving on, Creature Commandos. It wrapped up, Adrian. Season finale happened this past week. Mm-hmm. It's weird because I was much higher on this show the first few episodes in the middle, and then last week it felt like a filler episode. This week episode, it was good. It just, to me, it felt a little anticlimactic. Adrian.
Right, I agree.
You agree with that?
I agree with that. It was mid.
It was mid.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was gonna end with a little more. Like I thought we were getting this big war between the princess and her squad, and it ended up being like. I mean, the what's her name? The fish chick.
Right. Luna.
Luna. She's just swimming underneath the princess, tries to kill her. Princess kills her, and then the princess gets offed at the end. Right. And now the bride's in charge of the Commandos.
Right. Like a whole different commando.
Yeah, a whole different, like, and the whole tease with Frankenstein the whole time. That was
useless, senseless. It's like, again, he's doing dumb shit just to have him in there, and then nothing at the end from him.
She just shoots him a couple of times. Like, he's this big badass creature. We've seen him kill people, crush their faces. She shoots him 4 times, and that's it.
Well, I guess it's because it's her. Then it's more effects, you know.
Oh yeah.
However, that does kind of solidify the bride is one bad big dude.
She is, yeah. So I guess it didn't make sense that it ends with her kind of leading the team. But I actually liked Rick Flag Sr.'s character.
Right.
And we got like none of them in this episode.
Yeah.
That was weird.
We did get the Nazi killing dude back in a new body.
Yes.
But it's sad that Luna had to go.
Correct.
You know? Well, maybe she did. Maybe we'll see her next year. They'll resurrect her some kind of.
I did like her origin. That was a highlight of this.
Oh, dude, that was sadistic. Yeah. Man. It just makes you feel bad for like kids in general and the things that, I mean, she was perfectly fine being homeschooled, several languages, despite her, seemingly disadvantages, with the water tank and all that. Then she goes into school and it's like everybody's setting her up to make fun of her and stuff. Even the guy that she thought kind of like
puts the frog in the locker.
The frog in the locker. He's not trying to protect her. Right. I mean, all that shit is just crushing, dude.
Yeah, it definitely was. Which I almost feel like it's funny because I usually say the opposite, that a show goes on too long. I feel like this should have, like, her background, her story should have been its own episode.
Right.
And then we had a season finale that wasn't an origin episode.
Right.
That was just all these things coming together.
I absolutely agree, dude.
Yeah,
because I mean, out of her story should have been almost or even more complex than The Bride.
Yeah.
The bride story was complex. The Weasel, I mean, that ball licking thing, I mean, that's pretty simple, right? That was horrible, from the standpoint of what happened to him.
Right.
But I think Luna's, I'm assuming that I'm saying her name right. But anyway, Luna's backstory was more complex. Like the fact when she ran away, that whole life, the fact that her father got killed in front of her. That shit was crazy. So yeah, you're right. She should have had her own story, and then it should have been a finale with this whole going after the princess stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was 7 episodes. Like, you could have just did another one. They're 20-something minutes, so that I feel like it left a lot to be desired, but not in a good way. Like, oh, I'm looking for another season. Just more like that's how they ended it.
Right. The slow walk into the sunset.
It's like you were hyping dessert, Adrian. You had me come out. You had a nice, appetizer. We had a good homemade soup, right? Then you brought out my meal. It was great. And you're like, yo, dessert.
Right.
And then you bring out this fucking piece of birthday cake from 3 months ago. That's moldy.
Right.
And you're like, here's your dessert, dude.
Right.
That don't match the chicken parm you made for dinner or the nice Caesar salad. And this is like, what am I going to do with this moldy piece of cake, dude?
Right.
But that's what we got. It was a moldy piece of cake.
Moldy piece of cake.
You can't have your cake
in slow motion.
Yeah, in slow motion. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I think looking at the series as a whole with these last 2 episodes, I think my score has definitely dropped down.
Yeah.
I would probably say 6.5. Yeah, I'd probably say 6.5.
I was going to 6. I was going to go like 6.5 or 7. Like a 7.
Yeah.
Only because there's certain characters, when you talk about certain characters, even in a shitty movie, you might have a character that's going to shine, right?
Right.
And in this show, in its entirety, it's always been the bride.
Right.
The bride has always been the one that has pretty much carried everything. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I would like to see the next season, but I'm not looking forward to the next season because of what they did with the last 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, give me a year. Drop another one. I'm gonna watch it. I'll be here for it. But it's definitely not like on my list of, I can't wait for this.
Right.
I'm not that disappointed to where I'm not gonna watch. I think I'd probably say 7. I'd probably settle on a 7.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I think it really excelled in was giving us these origin stories and making you feel for these characters that you don't really know.
Right.
Like the only character of this bunch that we've seen anywhere before was Weasel, right? I mean, obviously in like live action or shows, like obviously you've seen them in comics, some of them, but for the most part, like, were you familiar with any of these comic characters' origins prior to this show?
No, none of them.
No. So they did a great job in that aspect. And also making you, I mean, think about in a 20, 25-minute show, making you care about a fucking weasel.
Right.
That's impressive.
Right.
So why I say that is, my point is they can do good things with these characters. I just think they fell a little short with how they wrapped it up.
And actually they made you feel so much for these characters. Like, why are they even in prison?
Exactly.
I mean, who should be there is Frankenstein with his murderous ass.
For real, dude.
But I mean, in The Bride, I'm sure she's done some things over there. Mostly getting away from Frankenstein.
Sure.
Right? But, you know, Frankenstein should have been in the thing, not the rest of these characters.
That's true. Yeah, the one guy that should have been there wasn't.
Right. And the robot. You know, that murderous bastard.
Are these guys Nazis?
I like when he hooked up with that guy and he took him to his club.
Yes.
And they dropped the thing and this swastika is up there. He's like, oh boy.
Yep.
It just goes in.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, I was talking about the scene with the princess and Luna in the pool. I actually think it was a great scene.
Yeah.
I just think I wanted, if you're going to do that, give me something bigger to end the show with. So I'm not saying, I think that was good. The music, the kind of subtleness behind it. She's swimming there, but she's, I mean, obviously such a good swimmer, right? Because she's a damn fish. So the princess has no idea she's there.
Right.
But then they sent her to kill the princess. She ain't a killer.
Right.
The princess is.
Right. So the whole hesitancy with her, which is why she came up on her and was kind of, she was like, contemplating still to the very end, but then she had to take action and it wasn't good enough.
Wasn't enough.
Because, like you said, the princess is a killer. I mean, she took her, and you saw her eyes when she was stabbing her underwater, dude.
Yep.
That's psycho.
Yeah, and then we come to find out that she pretty much set them up, you know, in the long run. So, yeah, I mean, not horrible. I would have wanted a little bigger, a little more for the ending.
Right.
But I'll take it for DC. Shit.
Right.
Compared to most of the shit Sony's done, fuck.
Yeah, dude. And then the bride goes back to a bunch of dudes over there crocheting.
Right.
The chick that she had to beat up the demon. She had to beat her ass early on for messing with Luna.
Yeah.
The shark boy, whatever.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Shark guy's back. So there's that. But yeah, all in all, I definitely, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. There was someone who commented, I guess they're in Canada, and said they can't watch it. It's not on Max in Canada for some reason. Put on the damn thing in Canada, shit.
They protected them, their people.
I guess. Well, Donald Trump's going to buy Canada anyways.
I just made another state.
Like, what are you talking about, dude? Nobody cares. Like, fix the economy or something. Right. Buy Canada. Anyways.
Well, he's going to be distracted for at least a couple of years with California, dude.
Shit, I know.
I mean, I'm thinking he's going to roast Newsom, dude. Yeah, some kind of way.
Probably. All right, well, that is Creature Commandos season finale. If you've not seen it and you don't live in Canada, check it out. Right. Can't you just like pirate it? So not that I would encourage this, but you know, it's gotta be. There's ways around it. Whoever said that.
VPN.
There you go. Next up, Adrian, everybody's favorite segment. Well, I guess it depends on what I say about you. It's We Respond. This is where our fans, our friends, we don't know what we're calling them. So they call them sidekicks, only comment, whatever. Our people, our fans.
I like our squad.
Our squad. There you go. Our squad here. They comment, and then we respond here every week. So we don't respond to everyone. We get the bulk. We're gonna start with Amigo Mio. Okay. My friend in Spanish. See that, dude? You're learning new languages here. Hey, Mike and Adrian. That's us. First time commenting. Been watching since the Loki deep dive. Oh, so he knows that I am he who is right if you've been watching since the Loki deep dive. My main in Marvel Rivals. This is the slang, Adrian. If you play Marvel Rivals, you have a main. Okay. That's your go-to. When you play the most as your main character. Okay. His main is Winter Soldier. Love his special ability. Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, dude. Like, I hate his special ability.
What is his special ability?
It's annoying is what he's jumping and he's got this shit that comes out of his hand and it targets you. It's wild, dude. All I know is it does a lot of damage and it's fucking annoying. And I've not played as him, so I don't really know. I just know it's annoying.
I thought you were gonna say some shit like he can throw his arm off like a boomerang and it comes back or something.
I mean, it comes out of his arm, but it's almost like these tentacle things that like hit you. It's obnoxious.
Wow.
Yeah. So I usually play arcade and haven't tried. Okay, so arcade is a mode in Marvel Rivals where it is 6v6 like the other modes, but we talked about like, there's the payload where you got to move this entity through the map. There's like a almost like a control where you have to take over this space for a certain period of time, and if the other team kills you and takes it over, then the balance goes back in their end. So there's also an arcade mode, which is just simply a death match. It's you respawn, you play for a set period of time or till one team gets a certain amount of kills, and you just meet in the middle, fight, and as you die, you go back to the spawn point, and the team at the end that has the most kills, does the most damage, wins.
Okay.
So it's probably, for someone starting out, it is a good way to learn how to play the game and not have to dedicate a lot of time to one of these like payload type matches. Like you can just learn how to use the characters first before you go to one of those other modes, right?
It actually sounds like that should be the way you learn, because you get into situations where you have to really maneuver the controls in order to figure out what your character can do. So, and
there's no like other objective for arcade. It's just kill these other people.
Right.
And in the other modes like payload and I forget what the other one's called, but there's objectives. Like it's not just kill. Yeah, it is, but it's all right. I need to protect my team because, we talked about with the healers, the tanks and all that. Doing this deathmatch, just go out there and get as many freaking kills as you can. I'm
assuming in this arcade or payload, or arcade mode, you're kind of like playing AI, or you with other people?
No, you're playing other people. So a team of 6 versus a team of 6. Yeah. So I haven't played that mode in a few weeks, but I was a big fan of it when it first dropped. So his question, he says, haven't tried much else. What should I try in the game? So, all right, if you've played some arcade, move on to, I think it's quick match. So there's quick match and then there's competitive. So competitive is a ranked system.
Okay.
The more you win, the higher your rank becomes. You start off at bronze 3, you go bronze 2, bronze 1, silver 3, silver 2, silver, and you go all the way up to like grandmaster or something, and he above all or some shit like that. Like, yeah, dude, there's all kinds of levels.
Sounds like a long journey.
Yeah, so I'm not that great. I got to bronze 1 last season, and then it resets after the next season. So I would say try quick play next, and then move your way over to thing about competitive. It's actually, I think, harder to get out of bronze 3 than it is to get out of bronze 2. Because think about this. Everybody's at bronze 3. So there's people in there that would probably be like plastic 1, like a cardboard 3, but they're just in bronze 3 because they're all there. So you may be better, but now you're stuck with kids that suck. And unless you have a good team, it's hard to win consecutively.
Got it.
So it's once you get out of bronze 3, then it's a lot easier to move up.
Gotcha.
But then the game gets harder. So it's like easier to get to 1 or 2, but then you get into silver, and now you got kids that can really play. So now it's a whole nother challenge.
Well, I'm stuck in cardboard universe. I'm still in Punisher training mode.
Okay, all right, but you've been playing, or
no,
not at all.
So 3 weeks ago, I downloaded the game.
Okay,
and then 2 weeks ago, I did a couple rounds of training with Punisher.
Yep, that's a tutorial. Okay, all right. Maybe another week we'll get you. Maybe we'll get you in arcade mode once. He says, another question, since you are watching Daredevil season 2, and Adrian is thinking of rewatching, you guys should do deep dives into the season, get ready for the new one. Yeah, I mean, if you do end up watching, we will definitely go through some of that. I am halfway through season 2 right now.
Okay.
So Punisher just got locked up.
Got it.
And dude, the fucking Punisher's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. I can't wait. I've never seen season 3. I've seen some like highlights, like Fisk Returns, I believe. I can't wait to watch that. So Broman Williams comes back every week. Broman's here. He is the new God Mode. He actually says in this that he would be glad to take the title. I might as well give it to him.
Might as well.
God Mode, the original God Mode's nowhere to be seen.
Right.
Now, the only thing, Broman, you're a wrestling fan, Broman, you'll get this. So if you are now God Mode, but if the OGM comes back, the original God Mode, y'all are going to have to fight.
It sounds like a plan to me.
All right, let's do it. So he says, what's up, Mike and Adrian? What's up, bro, man? What's up, God Mode? Happy first show of 2025. So I'm sitting in my car on break, engaging in devil's lettuce activity.
Nice.
Yo, just don't get fired, bro, man. I don't know. I know it's legal everywhere. I'm a big fan, but like it is frowned upon in some areas.
It is frowned upon.
So I don't want you getting fired because of devil's lettuce, bro. But anyways, I heard you say you never saw Gladiator. Yes, I never saw Gladiator. It was like Coulson when he got stabbed in the back by Loki, just criminal. Yeah. So he's offended that I've never seen Gladiator. You were too. You couldn't even.
Gladiator.
Yep.
Purple Rain. Yep. There's a couple of them.
There's a few others. Also, I'd be glad to take the God Mode's title. You can have it. Also, I'd love to come on your podcast as a guest anytime, even though I'm in Florida. You're my brother from another mother, 2 years apart. Oh, it's Tippy time. Yes, the fuck it is Tippy time. We talked about that last week. So, God Mode, here's what I'll say. There will be some options down the road for some fan interaction. Okay, this would be part of the whole subscription deal. We are going to be doing a lot of new things this year, and I don't know exactly what yet, but it will be second podcast subscription. There'll be a lot of things that come along with that, and possibly, hey, if someone subscribed, why not have them on for a few minutes or so?
Cosplay,
cosplay. There you go. So, I responded to him. I said, sorry I let you down with Gladiator. Then Anxiety Eater responded. He says, y'all, there is only 2 shows my 1-year-old daughter will sit and watch the entirety of. It's your show and Gladiator. He's a 1-year-old daughter. She'll watch our show. She'll watch Gladiator. The only 2 things that I guess keep her quiet and she'll watch the whole thing in its entirety.
I'm glad you translated it because I had no fucking idea.
That's what I do, bro. I translate. He says that I think we need to have.
Who's your dialect coach?
Oh yeah, the best.
Who's your dialect coach? The Minions.
That's a good one. I think we need to have you do a Gladiator breakdown on the other stuff part of the show. Maybe that. Hey, we're gonna be doing another stuff piece. Gladiator be a good one. I've never seen
that, and what's actually more comic book-ish is 300.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Which I love that movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of, hey, dude, it's Adrian. 300. Who's the director of 300? Zack Snyder, right?
Yeah.
The next comment. You've not seen this. You're looking at my computer screen, right? You don't have X-ray vision yet.
I do not.
That dude Pablo, we know that dude Pablo. He says the only Snyder that should be allowed within 100 feet of DC is Scott, who's the artist, or no, he's the writer for like Court of Owls. He wrote Court of Owls. I absolutely agree with that. Yes, because let Scott Snyder write some of the fucking movies. Brandon Jones says, side note, I'm a hater. Okay, Zack Snyder's DC was terrible. Yes, I'd rather watch Adam West's Batman.
Nice.
Wow, you agree with that?
I agree with that.
I think I would definitely take Adam West Batman over the Snyderverse.
Even with the camera turned sideways and they walking across the floor with the rope.
Wait, they weren't really climbing the building, Adrian?
No.
Damn it, you spoiled it for me.
Sorry.
That's okay. Brandon Jones also says, what up, Mike and Adrian? Love from Dallas once again. Okay. As an extreme Thor fan with a Mjolnir. How do you say it? Mjolnir?
I say Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. He gave me a spelling here. He broke it down. Mule-near. Mjolnir, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Anyways, he said, he has a Mjolnir tattoo. It's probably pretty cool.
That's dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see that. Did Brandon Jones show us somehow? I don't know. Right. Well, it depends on where it is. Like,
right.
No Diddy,
Right.
You use baby oil on it to shine it up? No? All right. Do you guys see Marvel being able to reconcile the atrocity they have turned this character into with his last 2 to 3 appearances on screen? I don't think it's too much to ask for one more kick-ass Thor fight. That's all serious and no jokes. Yeah. So you would agree Thor is now an atrocity. with.
I wouldn't call it an atrocity. Okay. There definitely has to be some redemption, and yes, I do agree that they could very easily turn that around.
Yeah, it's not hard to turn around.
No,
because I think we've seen more of Thor done right in the MCU than we have seen him done wrong. It's just, the whole "what have you done for me?" Lately, it's been fucked up.
Right.
For whatever reason, over the past couple of weeks, because I have YouTube TV instead of cable, but you get all the cable channels, right? Thor: Love and Thunder has been on TV for the past 2 weeks for some reason.
Oh,
just why?
I don't have TV.
So. Yeah. So yeah, all these movies we're talking about watching, Adrian never even watches them.
No, when I say TV, I don't have the standard ad infested TV. News channels and things like that. I don't have that.
I still do because I actually, main reason I have YouTube TV is for sports, football season, the whole deal.
Prime.
Yeah. Most of them are Prime
even
now.
Disney is doing sports now, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's one of the, it's cool to have them on streaming because a lot of times the streaming quality is better than it would be on cable or YouTube. But this happened to me last night. I'm going to watch the game. I'm like, where the fuck's the game at? What channels it's on? Because half of the games are on cable, and then some of them are on these streaming. So I'm like, the afternoon game was on YouTube TV and or cable. The evening game was on Amazon Prime. I didn't know this, so I missed the first 10 minutes of the game because I'm trying to find it because I'm stupid. But anyways,
you missed the first 10 minutes of the game, or that intro crap that they do.
I missed the intro.
That's 8 hours long.
Both. But I do think that they can turn Thor around, and I'm with you, Brandon. We need to see another badass Thor fight.
Yeah.
Some of the highlights of the MCU were some of these Thor fights, like the Thor versus Hulk. I mean, that stands up. Even when they fought the first time in the first Avengers movie on the helicarrier and all that. So yeah, I need to see some more Thor, kick-ass Thor.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? Chris Hemsworth has even said something along the lines of he feels like that character needs its redemption, and he will return if the story's right and does it justice. But he has said that looking back, he's unhappy with his portrayal in Thor: Love and Thunder, and that he kind of let it get that far.
Right.
And he blamed the director Taika Waititi for what he did, but I guess it's normal for him to feel a little guilt since he was the one acting like a buffoon.
I was going to ask you about that guy. What's his name?
Taika
Waititi.
Yep.
Isn't he? He should be on the water now on his bike, right?
Yeah.
Into the sun. That's why Love and Thunder is so shitty, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Directed from Namor's spot.
Definitely. So yeah, I'm with you, Brandon. Let's give Thor another hardcore ass fight and let's bring him back to where he needs to be.
Right.
Kemosabe Sensei. Hey, Kemosabe. There are thousands of characters with stories that have been set. I don't understand the need to continue to give us origin films that bomb. Yep, that's definitely true. And just change the gender or race of characters that we know. Yeah, I'd rather them just make new characters if they want something new, like Miles Morales, which is awesome.
Right.
Some people get it.
Some people get it.
Kemosabe, you get it, Kemosabe. I always wanted to call someone Kemosabe for real. You think that's his birth name?
I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds accurate. And his last name is Sensei.
Wow.
Sons of Sekhmet's back. What do you think about a fight between Psylocke and Daredevil? Psylocke and Daredevil.
That would be awesome.
For that
would
legit,
be awesome,
dude.
Yeah.
That'd be a good fight.
And then they smash afterwards. Because Daredevil is getting into all of that.
He only finds the most attractive women in his universe. That's it. Yeah, that's insane. And he can't really see them. But yeah, Psylocke is a character who is so badass that we never really get to see much of. Mm-hmm. I will say, from a visual standpoint, Olivia Munn portraying her in Apocalypse, phenomenal.
Yeah,
the costume was on point. And then, unfortunately, I think she went through some maybe breast cancer, some type of cancer recently, which is why one of the reasons why she did not reprise the role in Daredevil Wolverine. But I assume she's doing well now. But
now Elektra is pretty badass too.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I get into it a little bit later, but they a lot of the female comic book characters were under the typical white dude, everybody's a secretary.
Yeah.
So like Sue Storm, when she first came out, she was just barely visible, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So all of these characters, but then you get you start making live action stuff, and then they don't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. But Elektra, I mean, she's an assassin, dude.
Right.
So, she's pretty badass, too.
Yeah. In fact, the last episode I just watched of Daredevil season 2 was when she shows up at the end. Mm. And then the next episode, she's trying to get Matt to represent her and her team. He's like, no. And they just dump the money in his account. Mm-hmm. So we're about to get to where these two are interacting in that show. And so far, I really like the Elektra from that show.
Yeah. And we know what kind of interacting they're going to be doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And maybe you can't see it, Matt, but we sure as hell can.
Yep.
Sons of Sekhmet also says, hey, do either of you remember a story arc where Daredevil was in hell versus either Mephisto or Blackheart? You remember that?
I do not, but it sounds it's not unfamiliar, but I don't remember the details.
Got it. And he says, much love to you. Well, much love to you too. And he's got one more. He says, thank you so much. He's appreciative of us. We're appreciative of you too. He says, thank you so much for the Doom vs. Magneto section. Yes. And like I teased earlier, we got a new segment. Right. I don't even have a name for it yet, but what we did last week with Doom vs. Magneto, where we tell y'all how it is pretty much. You know? We're going to do that again later. So, Famous Thanius. Okay. Snow White in the upcoming movie is played by a Latina actress. Okay. Sunspot's Afro-Brazilian. So we were trying to go, he says, sorry for how short this sounds. I'm playing Xenoverse while listening. Okay, you don't have to apologize for being short. We actually encourage fact-checking on this show, right?
Another badass, Xena.
Yeah. So Snow White, we talked about this a little bit last week. Now, I don't consider that race swapping because I don't think they're going to make her character Hispanic, Latina, but she looks the part. I'm more concerned with do you look the part or not. Right. I don't really care about where you're back, but if you look the part, you look the part. Sure. Right. It would be weird to, like you said, they make Snow White black. It would be a little odd. A little bit, And Sunspot, we were going back because in X-Men 97, he was Dominican, but he's saying he's Afro-Brazilian, which I think, did you have him as a hidden gem at one point?
I did. And I don't. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think we said he was Dominican, but
last week we talked about on the X-Men 97 he was. They changed him to Dominican, and we knew he was mixed, and we were thinking he was Dominican and black on the show.
No, he's Brazilian, but like black Brazilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. So he's right. Famous Stan. He's Afro-Brazilian. Mm-hmm. All right. Psychology.
But you can say black, though. You don't have to say
I was
Afro.
reading what he said.
No, I'm just saying it. I'm talking about him.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to be all technical, He laid it out. He's educating us while we're educating him, Psychology. So like psychology, but they're a little sly with it. Psychology department.
Or is he like Stallone sly?
Maybe. Is this Sylvester Stallone? Is he's watching too?
There you go.
Yes. Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year, Sly. Love the Punisher's line in Daredevil Season 2 where he tells Daredevil, you're one bad day away from being me. Yes. Punisher War Journal was a great series. I have not read that. I liked it when the disembodied Doctor Strange combined himself with the Punisher. If you don't know about that storyline, ask Adrian, he says. So I'll ask you, do you know about that storyline?
No, don't ask me.
Okay, so we'll ask. Maybe, is one of those guys also named Adrian, one of the interns?
I don't know.
Probably not. They're all...
Sounds interesting, though.
It does, though.
What was the series?
Yeah. He didn't give us a name, but a disembodied Doctor Strange. So maybe like a...
No, it was Warhammer or something?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Punisher War Journal.
War Journal.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, it's funny. I just watched that episode when him and Daredevil were fighting, and he said that you're one bad day away from being me.
Actually, I have heard of that War Journal. Did I read it? I don't know. I read so much, experienced so much stuff, dude. I don't even know now.
Well, if you're anything like me, you could have bought it and put it on the shelf and never read it.
I definitely didn't buy it. That sounds so familiar.
Yeah. I actually just cataloged all my comics. I don't have that many. Yeah, I have like 55.
Okay.
But I got that app that was like see something. I don't know. Well, they don't pay us, so don't worry about it. But there is but honestly, if y'all collect, it's a pretty cool app where you can just scan the barcode.
Yep.
If they don't have a barcode, you can scan the cover and you can even enter it in manually. You can keep track of all your comics.
Right.
They have the variant covers and they give you all kinds of details about the comic. So
Yeah, it's a very good app. I have it. I have like 700 comics.
Shit.
And not only, I mean, I would definitely suggest just scanning the barcode instead of typing in the number.
Oh,
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely do that first.
But not only, it also categorizes your comic.
Mm-hmm.
It puts them all together like the series.
Yep.
You can search. Like if you want to look up Superman, right? It'll bring up anything with Superman.
It's searched by almost anything.
Right. Dude. Also you can upgrade the subscription. Yeah. Right. And if you are into collecting, it'll tell you the value. That upgrade will tell you the value of your comic. So it's a nice app.
Yeah. It starts with a C. I only reason I'm not saying is I don't remember the exact name. Not that they're gonna pay us. No one pays us.
I'm not saying it because then I send me coffee. So
there you go. But it's a great app. Chillmonger, he's back. He's a weekly friend of ours here. He says, we need more black characters on screen. Increasing the number of black villains on screen is such a misunderstanding of the representation issue. Yes, that was our point last week. Not to mention the non-solution that is race swapping. 100%. Right. I love when our friends here become friends. So Anxiety Eater responds to Chillmonger. He says, I agree with you. And the changing of the race of the character completely changes the culture of the character and how he came to be, who he is, and who the hero becomes. Yes. Like Storm, for example, if they changed the race of that character, that would completely change the backstory and everything, which they actually did. I know people think, well, she's black. Black and African, Adrian. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's two different things, right?
Two different things.
Halle Berry, black. Mm-hmm. Storm, African.
Right.
She didn't have an accent. Now, maybe they go, well, maybe she didn't have her accent anymore. Nothing about that character. They never even said she was from Africa.
Right.
So
it was probably implied. But again, that's early days, X-Men. Yeah. Again, when they were, I believe when they were bringing these movies out, they really didn't know what arc to pitch these characters in these storylines. And
sure.
So they just had some base representations of them, but they should have got somebody with some more soul, not like black soul, but just like somebody that projects the character out of their body, instead of just somebody that's just kind of there,
right?
Which it appears that Halle Berry did in this role.
Yep, absolutely. And then someone else responded. Indiana Jake says, "What about Latinos and Asian representation? Why are we always talking about black people? It's weird. It's not balanced, and the only swaps that have ever happened are black minus Namor. I don't think that's the only swaps. I think what you see on that side, unfortunately, is you see a lot of whitewashing. You see characters that are Asian in whatever story, Prince of Persia, right, being played by a white dude. That's odd.
Let me see. Jesus. Anybody that's in Egypt, like if you watch like the old Egyptian movies, they literally Cleopatra. They tried to take Egypt out of Africa. Right. So you got that whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of back and forth. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing now. But whether it's right or wrong, I'm bought into the way it was when I was growing up. Yeah, I accept, Captain America being, white dude. You got the Black Panther, but don't give me the Black Fisk.
Right.
Things, just weird stuff like that. Alicia, she's white. Yeah, we know that. Mm-hmm. Now, but then when you do something like a Miles Morales, which is an alternate version of a Spider-Man, and there's some characters that you can have the alternate versions of.
Right.
Superman, pretty much anybody, but they're completely different characters, not the mainstream characters. Mm-hmm. I most certainly accept that.
Yeah.
But out of all ethnicities, out of all races, there are superheroes, supervillains, and our point is bring those people out, let they be represented the way they are, instead of doing this gender race swapping.
Sure. He did mention Namor. Mm-hmm. So that is a character who now he's from Atlantis in the comics, right? Correct. So that's just his race? They never ever say he's like any other type of race.
It's assumed he's correct. He's an Atlantean, which if anything, he's going to be blue, but he's not in the comics.
Yeah.
He looks like a mix, actually. Like Asian white mix, possibly.
Okay.
But also Namor is unique even among the Atlanteans.
Right.
Right.
Because he's mixed. He's not full, or I forget why he's not green like the other ones.
Well, he's actually he's not the first mutant, but because
Apocalypse
is supposed to be the first mutant from which all other mutants
I guess
come
depending on what story you read. He's the first like discovered mutant, maybe?
Something like that.
Okay.
But they portrayed him in the movie. I don't know what race he was supposed to be. Was he supposed to be Mexican? Because it had that whole Mexican Aztecish kind of vibe to it. And then they put vibranium as a source. It was just a weird arc. Yep. They try to change too much, I think. Besides the race, they changed. And of course, like the reader said, the commenter was like, they changed the origin. Like if you make what's his face in Batman? Gordon, right? You make him black. That means that, Batgirl is black. That means that their entire origin is different. And some would say if he was black, he probably wouldn't have been commissioner anyway.
Yeah.
So, so you got that whole arc of stuff, which makes no sense. It's confusing. And then the very next movie you make, they're back to being the original gender and or the original race,
right.
Which is completely confusing.
Yeah.
So just like they did with Fantastic Four. 2 movies, bunch of white people. Then you throw Johnny Storm in there, right? Mm-hmm. You got Sue, she's white, but Johnny is black.
Oh, I forgot to bring that up.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
So that's ridiculous. And now they're gonna come out with a new Fantastic Four where they're all white again. So just don't do that, dude.
Like what? Yeah, and we're gonna jump around. We time travel here. So we're going back to when we were talking about Fantastic Four. Okay. What did that do to the story? I also read the director originally wanted to make Sue Storm black too. Mm-hmm. And in instances like that, that's where it becomes an issue for me. Part of her character is the fact that she's a blonde with blue eyes. Like that's who it's always been tied to her as a character, right? She's this hot blonde, blue eyes that God knows why Reed would ever, or why she would even look at Reed twice, right? Like almost out of his league type shit. Not that you can't have attractive women of all races, but that was her character.
Right.
And so the director originally wanted to make her black too, and they fought that because that's kind of, they're like, dude, this is her identity. It's a little it's a little weird.
Well, guess whose other identity? Johnny.
Exactly.
But they managed to do that.
Yep.
So it's like they shouldn't have did that at all.
And then they don't explain it at first. So the whole I'm distracted by the fact that obviously my kids are mixed. You have mixed kids, but why is she like this token white girl and he's black dude and the dad's black? But then we find out that she was adopted. But why? Like, what did that do to the story?
Muddy it up.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
There's plenty of other, if you felt, we needed to have black characters here, there's plenty of others, and they did. They could have included. There's other characters that they absolutely feel they needed to race swap. It's just weird, the types of decisions they make. And like someone pointed out earlier, race swapping does not fix the issue of lack of representation.
Absolutely.
Because now you're taking from another and just act like, I don't know, it's just odd. Right. But back to the Namor. So in the MCU, he's not from Atlantis. He's from Talakan. They just renamed the Atlantis to Talakan. I didn't even remember this until I just pulled it up.
Right, I didn't either.
And he's based on basically the old Mayans. So not necessarily Hispanic, but I guess these people that kind of came before, what we know. Because the actor is Mexican.
In Black Panther, you're talking?
In Black Panther,
not
too.
The comics.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
Yep, the actor's Mexican.
Right.
But they kind of like, the Mayans, the
Incan kind of culture.
Which was like the Native Americans of Mexico, before whatever the Spanish came and did what they did.
Right.
So I'm also not a big Namor fan from the comics. Mm-hmm. So, maybe I'm talking out of both ends here, Adrian, but this change didn't bother me as much as some of the other ones.
It did not, except they made it fit the whole vibranium attacking Wakanda thing.
Yep.
And also, I just didn't like the look of the guy.
So your issue is really, is it more with just the actor itself? Like if it was another Mexican actor that looked more the part of Namor and they did all these same changes, would you have received it better?
My response to that Namor is like my response to Halle Berry being Black Panther, playing a black actress, Captain Marvel being white playing. They weren't the people to play.
Got it. Okay.
The character.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Okay. Akeem Amor says, I recently watched Morbius. Wow. And I think you're bored, huh? No, don't worry, Akeem. There's going to be a lot of movies coming out this year. You won't have to watch things like that anymore.
No, but do watch those kind of movies. Because then, like I said, how do you know when you're watching a good movie? Because you've seen a bad movie.
There you go. Yeah, true. He says, I think the anticlimactic ending and how fast it happened is ultimately what killed the movie because it had some great scenes. It just couldn't stick the landing. I've not seen this movie. Do you agree with that?
What's the movie?
Morbius.
I have seen the movie. The CGI was bad.
Okay.
The fight in the subway, it was just, it was bad.
Do you think the anticlimactic ending? First of all, do you think the ending was anticlimactic?
I would agree with that.
Okay, I should get that. Do you think it happened too fast and that potentially killed the movie?
I don't know about the too fast, but I would kind of agree with that too because they spend so much time setting the movie up.
Yep.
I think the better part of the movie was him being the sick doctor and then him going to look for a cure.
So in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then once they got into the super part of it, it just kind of went downhill from there for me.
Last question about what Akeem says. Do you agree with him when he says it had some great scenes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this is a movie. I'm actually, I don't know if I'm fully committed on this yet, Adrian, but watching the Fantastic Four movies this past week, I realized there aren't many, but there's a handful of movies that I've not seen that are comic book movies. Mm-hmm. I've not seen the Blade series. Mm-hmm. I've not seen Morbius.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah. I'll give myself one, okay? I've not seen that, so I need to watch those. I have seen all the Fantastic Four movies. I've not seen Morbius. Mm-hmm. I mean, I probably shouldn't watch it, but I probably need to. Mm-hmm. So there's a handful that I've not seen. Right. And I maybe, this year I think I want to, those like, you ever see those posters that's all the movies and you scratch off the ones you watch?
Right.
Maybe I need to get one with Marvel or with comic book movies and finish the list,
Okay.
But I'm going to make it, throughout the year, I'm going to watch some of these bad movies that I've avoided. Morbius is probably going to have to be one of them. So, Name Tag Alexander. Okay, that's an interesting name. Maybe it's like, like when Joe Biden reads like, the quotations or like end quote. Maybe it's one of those, like you're supposed to take that out and just put Alexander, like Name Tag Alexander. Anyways, what up, Mike and Adrian? I doubt Bucky's under mind control in the Thunderbolts. I think they fixed him up pretty good in Wakanda. You just comment, just correct me. Really? Seriously? You may be right, but there were some things in the trailer that led me to believe, like Bucky, we're talking about the Thunderbolts trailer, where it looked like Bucky was attacking the Thunderbolts in one scene, and another scene he's standing right next to him, and I just feel like his whole look had changed in between those. Mm-hmm. And then there was, somebody pointed this out, it had something to do with, I think, what hand he was using, like for the gun. People notice all these little details, like, and I think I could be off, but I think what they said was whatever hand he held his gun in Civil War when he was under the spell or whatever, when he wasn't, he'd use his other hand. And I guess there was parts in the trailer where, they saw him using the hand that he was using. I don't know.
So I'm thinking it might be a little trickery.
Yeah, could be.
So if you had seen Purple Rain, right? If you saw the preview,
yeah.
You saw these guys dancing in ensemble, but they were playing Let's Go Crazy.
Okay.
But actually, if you watch the movie, they were dancing to Jungle Love.
Okay.
So what am I saying? Well, it looks like they were attacking the Thunderbolts. Bucky was attacking the Thunderbolts, but he actually could have been attacking somebody else, and it looked like the car got flipped over, but it might have got flipped over by some other thing. Yeah. So maybe he's just trying to catch up with him.
It could be. I mean, we did see in the Infinity War trailer, we saw Hulk running through Wakanda, but then we remember that they gave Bruce Banner ED pretty much. Hulk couldn't, rise to the occasion. Right. So we never saw that. And so it was just a fake scene.
Got it.
There was also scenes where Cap was fighting Thanos in Wakanda and he only had like one or two stones. But in the movie, he has almost all of them at that point. So yeah, it could be some trickery. Right. So we
shall see.
Dude, it's again, the next guy's name is Ryan Tricky. It's like, dude, you just said trickery.
Right.
Dude, you're predicting the future.
Hey, there we go.
What's Reed's daughter's name? Valeria?
Valeria.
Valeria? I think you have her powers, dude. Yeah, it's
apparently I don't have the power to get some fucker to give us some coffee.
yes, exactly. But Ryan Trickery says, so I rewatched both Fantastic Four and Daredevil. So that was our second option last week from the early 2000s. After hearing you'd pick one to watch, I used to think I liked Daredevil more, but now that I rewatched it, not a big fan as I thought. Both Ben and Jennifer were boring in their roles. Okay, Colin Farrell is still one of my favorite actors, and he was funny as Bullseye. That's right, he was in that movie.
Yeah.
But I think I like the Fantastic Four movie more now. Wow. Thought Michael Chiklis as the Thing carried the oh my God, Ryan, just are you doing trickery right now, Ryan?
I think so.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts from your rewatch. Well, I'm assuming at this point in the show you already heard them, and it was pretty bad. Yeah. Also, trying rivals from your suggestion. Good job. Not a fan yet, But trying to find my character, so I'll remain hopeful. Thanks for another great podcast. Okay. Anyways, but hey, Ryan can have his own opinions.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
It's okay if he thinks it's April already.
But we still appreciate you checking in, Ryan. Daredevil from the early 2000s. I bet I would agree with him too. If I rewatched that now, it probably would be a lot worse, especially after seeing
Absolutely.
Like when's the last time you seen that movie? Shit, when it came out.
Yeah, when it came out. Yeah. It's interesting to go back and see something after you've seen the same thing been done so well. Mm-hmm. I mean, you almost can't do anything but shit on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of shitting on it, we're gonna move on to the TikTok comments. It's maybe our last week of TikTok comments, Adrian.
Maybe.
Now, I know you're not a big prediction guy. You're more of a let's wait and see kind of guy. Yep. But if you had to make a prediction, do you think TikTok's going to shut down this week?
No.
Okay. I hope you're right. For friends like, Edwin Lewis Jackson here. This is a strong name. Edwin Lewis Jackson. ELJ. Let's give him a nickname. He says, needs to be fact-checked. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
But, here's the thing. He said this on a video, so I had reposted on TikTok. They have this feature called On This Day. Mm-hmm. So if you've been on TikTok for over a year, you go on today and you posted a video last year, it will show you that again on this day. You actually can repost it with that hashtag. It's like a look back. Look at the dumb shit we were talking about last year. Mm-hmm. So recently I reposted the one where we talked about the X-Men destroying the Justice League, where you said... And I could probably quote this. I've seen this video so many times where you said, all it takes is two. You said, Xavier put him to sleep. Wolverine run around, chop everybody's heads off.
Right.
And then I start talking about Rogue, taking Superman's power, all this stuff. But Edwin Lewis Jackson says needs to be fact-checked. Now, I always say you should fact-check our shit. Mm-hmm. But how the fuck are you going to fact-check a fictional battle?
Right.
You can't. So, you know what, Edwin? Sorry, ELJ. Ikes.TikTok. You're going to be Ikes.YouTube next week because TikTok's gone. He says, you point out the good and the bad of all things comics, DC or Marvel. That's exactly right. Because we had to tell them we weren't DC haters recently because they called us DC haters. Pink Sunglass Guy. Marvel 10 times better. Fight me, DC fans.
That's right.
You agree with that?
I agree with that.
James Sakin. I've been listening to you for the past year, and it makes my Tuesday mornings bearable. All right.
Nice.
This is for you, Adrian. Wait till you hear this next part. Keep it going, by the way. I'm from Glasgow, Scotland.
Nice.
We found one. We found one. So, James, hey, follow us on YouTube because pretty soon we're going to lose one from Scotland. Tristan 390. These guys don't know great acting when it's right in front of them. Hey, Mr. fucking Martin Scorsese here. I just love that. And this was on Tom Hardy's A Huge Miss. They don't know great acting. Right. No, we just didn't like that casting.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't know. I didn't know you were a fucking movie director here.
Didn't like Tristan. The casting or the acting.
There you go. Last one. We got to end on a negative note here, okay? Crush everything. He says, I'm starting a podcast. Anyone can have a podcast. Okay. Not true. Actually, go ahead, do it. Yep. I dare you to. Start it. You'll last fucking 2 weeks. And when people don't watch your first 2 videos, you'll probably cry and pee on yourself like you are right now. But we're talking about the Martha moment. This is another year, a look back video. And it's just funny, anyone could. No, the truth is, not everyone can. No. Not everyone will. But you know what everyone can do? they can get butthurt and cry about it in the comments.
Right.
And then anybody could wind up on We Respond. So that's true. So we end on a positive note. But
I mean, I got to give it to you, dude, because you better. I wouldn't even read the comment personally.
I know. You know me, though. It's a fog. It's getting me. Guys, make sure you cut that one out, too.
Right.
I just don't have a lot of self-control at times, Adrian.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
I'm like, dude, why do people do that? If they don't like your shit, just move on.
Right.
There's a bazillion other ones out there that you can go and keep swiping right or left or clicking or whatever the hell you do. But just move on, dude.
You know what it is, Adrian? So you say this when we talk about reviewing movies. Like a lot of times, if you look back, your scores are usually lower than mine.
Yep.
Right? And you said, like, you're older, you've seen more movies, you've seen more bullshit.
Right.
You have less tolerance.
Yep.
Right? So what you just said, that's how I used to look at these comments. Like, and I would even respond, like, you just go watch something else. Like, if you don't like our shit. I realize that doesn't work because they keep watching. So now the gloves are off. Now I'm coming for your fucking throat. Maybe not. But yeah, crush everything. Hey, start a podcast or don't, or fuck off, or don't post shit, or keep posting stupid shit and I'll call you out. But anyways, but I appreciate everyone, Adrian. I appreciate people like Crush Everything here. I appreciate people like, Sons of Sekhmat, Pink Sunglasses, all these guys. Appreciate y'all checking us out, commenting, keep commenting, and we will keep clapping back, right?
But it's interesting, though, that's the person that would subscribe.
Yeah, he's probably definitely following us. Yeah.
If we, once we open up other avenues, other
he'll be there
opportunities,
too.
He'll be there too. Love to hate.
Yes, they love to hate, and they hate that they love us.
Yes.
Moving on, Captain America versus Black Panther. So I will tell you this. I will have a name for this segment soon, Adrian. Right now, we're not calling it anything. We're just going to talk about Cap versus Black Panther. Right. It's funny because we've said this. I've said this on Agree to Disagree, and you've agreed that Black Panther would smack the shit out of Captain America.
Yep.
And a lot of people disagree with that. I call those people racist. No, I'm just kidding. They could be, though. They could be.
Could be.
Or maybe not. You never know. But before we even get into this, you've done some research on these two.
Yep. Well, I haven't done research, but I've been reading them for several decades.
So you've been getting your mind wrapped around this battle. Okay. You've been doing research in your own mind.
There you go.
You still say, before we even talk about this, Black Panther, T'Challa, would beat Captain America in a one-on-one fight.
Yes.
And this is for, the guys that bring up some weird comic story where something happened and this and that and how, this is they walk down a street corner. Wasn't planned. There's no prep time. Yeah. None of that. They just showed up, time to fight type shit.
Yep.
That's these hypothetical battles we're talking, right? So I'll tell you what I found, Adrian. And these are my boy ChatGPT. So I asked about strengths and weaknesses. So Captain America is peak human abilities. He's a master tactician. Okay. Icon. He's got the vibranium shield. And he's got relentless willpower. You agree with all that? Pretty accurate.
Sure.
Okay.
He can do that all day. Yep.
He could do. Oh, look at that, dude! And you even dressed his Cap today to tell us that Cap would get his ass kicked.
Well, I'm not biased.
That's right. That's right. His weaknesses. So, despite the serum, he's still mortal.
Yep.
Okay. He can be outgunned by more advanced tech. Okay. Black Panther, enhanced agility and strength from the heart-shaped herb. Right. He's got the vibranium suit. So Cap has the shield, but his whole suit's vibranium.
Yep.
He's a brilliant strategist. And then he's got Wakandan tech, which is probably one of the biggest things that gives him an edge over Cap.
Not really, but.
All right. Weaknesses. He can be overconfident at times. His suit and tech can be exploited if somebody finds weaknesses or disrupts its power source. So it doesn't sound like many weaknesses. Okay. Anything you think they're missing, strengths and weaknesses before we move on?
Well, one, they're making his suit. It probably is now because after what his sister did in the first one, they're making his suit sound like armor.
Okay.
And the original Black Panther suit was just a suit made out of vibranium. In other words, instead of being made out of cotton or wool or polyester, it's made out of this vibranium. There's no tech in the metal itself.
Got it.
I'm talking about that suit. I don't give a shit about this exploding, repulsing, all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the original
suit. Yeah.
The original one without tech.
Okay. It just had the vibranium, which made it, hard to what? I mean, you're not going to, is it bulletproof? Is it close to being bulletproof?
But vibranium basically has the ability to, adamantium, which is what Wolverine's claws and skeleton is made out of, is basically indestructible.
Yeah.
And then vibranium can absorb pretty much any impact. It's indestructible in a different kind of way.
Okay.
And then I think Captain America's shield is made out of a combination of the two, or just mostly vibranium. But it can absorb a lot of stuff, as we've seen, going up against Thor, Iron Man's repulsors, the Hulk's, fucking rage, all that stuff, right? So that's the difference.
Got it. And when you're talking about the absorption is in Black Panther, when his sister gives him the new suit, all these instead of just repelling them, it actually absorbs energy from them. Correct. When it gets to a certain point, he can then release it back. That's an upgraded suit.
Yeah, that's the upgraded suit.
But
But vibranium, for example, so Iron Man, he used to have a force field that when people shot bullets at him, it ricocheted. Well, if you're a bystander, you're going to get shot. You stand around Iron Man, you ping, 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 ping. So what he did, he upgraded his suit to where when projectiles came toward him, it converted that energy to inert. So basically it hit and just dropped to the ground.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what vibranium does.
Yep.
It's so for Black Panther, the suit allows him this. If a force comes up against him, that's probably, and I'm theorizing here.
Yeah.
If a force comes up against him that's less than his body weight, like a bullet, right? It would nullify the impact. If a force comes up against him that's his body weight, his mass or more, like a human body, like if Cap lunges at him, it will move him. So that's the difference. But he's still going to be pretty much unhurt because he's still going to be inside the suit.
Right. Okay. Couple things that we compared here. So shield versus claws. You got the vibranium shield. It's going to block most attacks, right? It's vibranium. But T'Challa's claws are even vibranium.
I wouldn't do that comparison. I would do the shield versus the suit.
Okay.
Because Cap's shield is offensive and defensive. T'Challa's suit is mostly defensive. The claws make it offensive.
Yes.
So you have to do the whole suit.
Okay.
Not all
right. So you're looking at the claws as part of the suit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and again, I'm not talking about all this crazy upgrades that it's just. I'm just talking about the basic.
Yeah.
So the vibranium suit with the claws, old school. That's what I'm talking about when it goes against Captain America.
Got it. I guess what gives the individual more of an advantage? Does Cap have a bigger advantage with the shield, or does T'Challa have a bigger advantage with the suit with the claws?
T'Challa has the advantage. T'Challa has all the advantages.
Okay.
Right? So one, Cap can throw the shield, but it's going to be nullified by T'Challa's suit.
Right.
Now, if Cap can potentially potentially decapitate him, he takes the shield like the rogue Captain America did with that guard or whatever, right? But again, the suit is going to prevent that.
Right.
So he can get in some good shots, but the suit is going to nullify most of the attacks.
Okay.
He has a good defense against T'Challa's claws, right? Because the shield, what the shield is made out of. But here's the biggest advantage of T'Challa over Captain America. So Captain America, he has a few years as a soldier, right? So he does have that experience. He doesn't have 50 years because remember, he was asleep for most of it.
Correct.
So he didn't just, become a soldier and then have 50, 75 years until he came up in the Avengers of experience. He had a few years of experience, took a nap, and then came out, and then he started doing his other stuff. T'Challa,
I know where you're going.
T'Challa, when he eats that herb, he gets hundreds of years of the past Black Panthers memories and fighting experiences into him. So even if he had never had any training before, which as he grows up, as you saw in the movie, he has to fight to keep that throne.
Right. Yeah.
So, and he has to do it without the heart-shaped herb. The heart-shaped herb.
Yep.
So he's already a warrior.
Yeah.
To begin with, and then he gets this other shit.
True,
and then
true.
he gets the suit.
Right.
So that stuff alone is why, and that's why I'm not even including all the tech that his sister, because with the tech, I mean,
it'd be unfair.
It would be unfair.
Yeah.
It would just be a bloody mess, right? So that's the advantage of T'Challa over Steve Rogers.
Because if you look at their physicality, their I guess their limits, they both push the human limits, like between the serum and the heart-shaped herb.
Let's assume that part is similar.
Yep.
Steve Rogers got a serum that basically he regenerates and doesn't get tired, right?
Super strength, the whole deal.
Well, he doesn't really have super strength.
No.
He can now. If you look at the,
it's above human strength, though.
Yeah, it's above. It's like super athletic,
but it's not no Superman Hulk type shit.
No. His limit is like, so if you look at the old Marvel universe, which is the catalog of all the powers of all the characters, his limit when you look at, because when people think about strength, they think about bench pressing. Right.
Yep.
Steve Rogers is 800 pounds.
Okay.
Right. I actually don't even know what T'Challa's is, but it kind of doesn't matter. I know it's more than that, but he's also superhumanly fast.
Yeah.
Captain America is athletic fast. They compare his quickness, his agility, his stamina to an accomplished Olympian.
Okay.
Right.
That doesn't like peak human.
Right. That doesn't get tired.
Got it.
T'Challa's is pretty much magical.
Right.
So you got all that stuff, plus the fighting styles, plus the history of the experience of all the Black Panthers before him. Yep. And then you get into the suits.
Tactical minds is another topic here. So they're both brilliant, strategists. They can both adapt mid-fight. We've seen a lot of that.
Sure.
I would assume that Black Panther is more intelligent.
He absolutely is.
Right. Like he's literally a genius.
Right.
Most comic characters are.
Well, yeah.
But he's an applied.
Well, we talked about acting genius versus applied
He's
genius.
an applied genius, right? Now, the suit, even the base suit, I think gives him an advantage in tech, right? Because Cap's suit is just like a regular suit, right? Like, it's not anything special. I mean, there's some armor built in.
Yeah, there's some armor built into it. Let's just take the suits out. Let's take the suits and the shields away. It would still be pretty much a bloodbath.
Right. Yeah. So I think that, across the board, I agree. I think the experience that he has, especially because we're saying this ain't like the fight for Wakanda. He's gonna have the heart-shaped herb. He's not gonna remove those powers. I do think it would be a good fight early on. I think the longer it went on, the more T'Challa would have the advantage.
T'Challa isn't like a Batman or a Superman, where he's gonna be like the Boy Scout Superman,
right? Those claws are gonna be penetrating. No diddy,
right? He's from a perspective of, why am I even doing this? In other words, he's gonna allow you time to bow out or to not do this.
Yep.
But if he fully engages, it's gonna be quick.
Yeah, that's cool. So there you have it. I think T'Challa across the board. I think it would be entertaining. And we saw some of this in like Civil War when they fought a little bit. And I did get the vibe that neither one of them was going full force, because out of respect, like he wasn't trying to kill Cap. He wanted to kill Bucky.
Right.
Which he would have.
Yep.
No doubt.
Yep.
Cool. So there you have it, Cap. So last week we said Doom would beat Magneto. Now Cap would beat, I just had an idea, Adrian. So we did something similar to this before. We were trying to find the most powerful comic book character, right? We had brackets and everything, and we did it with a coin toss. Like, hey, this one would win. We didn't talk about it to this level.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm assign myself some more homework because the interns aren't going to help.
Right.
Put together a bracket of all of these battles that, we would love to see. And week by week, we talk through them till we get to our championship.
Okay.
So I'm going to fill out some, next week I'm going to present a bracket, okay, of some proposed fights. And someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Sons of Sekhmet, Psylocke versus Daredevil. That'd be a cool one to talk about. And there's just so many awesome ones. Like, dude, even a Miles versus a Peter Parker, dude. I think Miles would tee him up. I think Miles hands down would win. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do some homework, Adrian. So that's how we will evolve this segment. It will be a tournament, Adrian. Okay. It will be a street corner battle, and no comic characters off limits. And I will arrange them to answer a lot of these questions. I think this was probably a question a lot of people have had. Who would win out of these two, right? Wolverine, Sabretooth, another two that would. Similar powers, obviously, they're rivals, so we'll deal with they met on the street corner type shit. So I'm gonna do some homework. We're gonna do this every week until we find who is the champion of the comics in 2025.
Okay.
All right. So moving on. Hidden gem, Adrian. I feel like you were teasing some stuff earlier. I didn't want to make a guess, so I am gonna turn this over to you, and I'm gonna sit back and enjoy. And who is our hidden gem this week?
All right. So we've been talking about Fantastic Four. We've been talking about Marvel Rivals. So this should come as no surprise. And this is someone I think I've covered before.
Yep.
But there's another side to it, to this person.
Okay.
And it is Malice.
Nice. Dude, that's a treat for me, dude. I ever since I saw that skin, I'm like, I need to know more about Malice for research purposes.
There you go. It's actually pretty simple. All right. So if you don't know, Malice is Sue Storm.
Yeah.
But a little psycho, right? So basically, Malice is the manifestation of the dark side of Sue Storm. She was first brought to life with all the powers of, and I'm going to retouch her powers too, with all the powers of the Invisible Girl, the Invisible Woman, she later changed the name to, without the restraints, right? So it's like Wolverine in Berserker mode almost. And this happened because of Psycho Man, right? Doing an attack on New York City. Now, she immediately turned on her teammates. Just all that hate-filled stuff.
Okay.
And I think, in a way, this was kind of a reboot for Susan Storm because I kind of mentioned it earlier. When these characters were being made in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, early on, they got the white man treatment, right? So all the women were housewives. They were kind of less than, they wanted representation, but not really. Yeah. So they kind of like didn't give them a lot of power. But then you see things like Jean Grey. She became like the Phoenix. So over the years, they got more and more and more power. And Sue Storm was one of those people that she was really, really underrated with her powers initially, but then they started developing things and kind of things that made sense, right? So in my mind, Malice was kind of like that turning point for Sue Storm.
Got it.
So basically, Psycho Man pulled this hateful version of her out. She attacked the team. She did all this other kind of stuff. Now, it was like a split personality kind of a deal.
Okay.
Right? So it was just that personality that's kind of buried in there. And Reed Richards kind of snuffed it out by reasserting her, making her feel bad about herself and all this other kind of stuff. Then sometime later, they were joined by the Silver Surfer on a mission to recover the Infinity Gems from the Elders, and the persona came out again while attempting to gain control of the Soul Gem. So it came out again, but then...
So this is a persona that she's had it in her, and then because of what Psycho Man did, it pulled it out of her?
No, I think Psycho Man kind of manifested in her, and then it became like dormant back and forth.
And then it would come out again, flare up.
Right.
Know? Okay.
Yeah, like flare up is a good word. So at some point when it came out with the, again for the Soul Gem, Malice's personality actually tried to take control of Sue's body.
Okay.
So internally they were like battling each other. And then at some point Sue was like, well, actually, before I go into that, so what does that mean? She's prone to angry outbursts, right? She's obviously prone to attacking her own family. She started wearing the sexy outfits, which is what the skin that you see in Marvel Rivals.
Yo, she stole Psylocke's pants, bro. Straight up. Well, they're not really pants.
And for those that don't know, Psylocke don't have any pants, so you can imagine what Sue was wearing, right?
Yes.
So all of this stuff. So that's why I coined it as a reinventing of Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, not to sexualize her, which they did,
right? But
also an opportunity to reinvent her and her powers and stuff, because her power set is just off the scale, dude. So she during this process. With the Soul Gem thing, she took a gamble and she merged herself with Malice's personality. In other words, I'm going to give Malice a little bit to calm her down, to keep her down, but as opposed to just allowing her to take over. That kind of didn't work. So then eventually Malice's personality was expunged from Sue's body by Psylord, which is Sue's alternate future version of her son, of Franklin, basically.
Okay.
So he basically had Malice come into her, something happened to him, which basically disappeared Malice altogether. Now, I think this is important because this also, they had a battle with, Dark Raider, which is the evil version of Reed, in some variation.
Yeah.
Now, imagine, so I want to go over her powers again, because a lot of people think, oh, she can just become invisible. Well, she can do that. But like Magneto, anybody that can deal with the EM field, you can also deal with different versions of the electromagnetic spectrum. So it's not just about making herself disappear, right? She can also make other things become invisible. It's not phasing. You can't just go through her.
Yeah.
But she can make you think that you don't see her, kind of a deal, right? Now, because she can manipulate the EM spectrum, her force fields, she can also affect other wavelengths. So she can make the force fields. I'm gonna separate them because she has force fields and then she can do different things, right?
Yep.
She can project her energy. So her force fields, she can make the sound, she can make them soundproof, right? So for example, if she's doing some cloak and dagger shit, and then she coughs, right? You can be invisible, but if somebody hears you, what's the point?
Right.
So anything inside the force field, she can dampen the sound. Also, some cool things. She can block telepathic attacks like Jean Grey. Just clear, besides her and Charles, right?
Yeah.
One of the strongest psychics on the planet.
Yep.
She can block their attacks to keep the people from reading her mind. She can not only see other invisible things, but she can negate other people's ability to become invisible or visible.
Damn.
She can negate other people's ability to phase through different things, different matters. So it's not just making stuff, invisible or visible.
Yeah.
She can kind of blind you by making your optic nerves invisible.
Right.
So obviously, if you don't have anything which the light can go through, then you can't see. So she can manipulate color. She can do all kinds of things. But then she can do stuff like the Green Lantern can do. She can actually create objects, right, with her fields.
Yeah.
So she can create any kind of shape that she can imagine. So like the Green Lantern, what she can do with her force fields in this energy is limited only by her imagination. Now you can imagine as Malice, she's just unhinged, right? So she can pretty much do anything. She can literally create a planet-sized sword and slice the planet in half if she wanted to.
Damn.
And she's that powerful. She once projected a force field around the entire planet and kept Gladiator from penetrating it. Damn. Now, Gladiator is a class 100 character in the comic books, right?
He's basically a Superman.
Exactly. He's basically a Superman. So she was not only able to protect the planet, but also keep him from getting in and during that time, not only can she project these force fields, but she can also attack you with her force fields. These other creations. So it's not like Green Lantern, his pussy ass, right?
Right.
So he is either offensive or defensive. She can be both.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
So all that power, but then she can do things like give you an embolism. She can create her force field so tiny, she can create a bubble in your bloodstream and then give you a heart attack. Or she can just rapidly expand the bubble and just explode you altogether.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she can literally whatever, if she decides, okay, I want to create a dome around New York, which she's done, and I want this dome to be 6 foot thick and 3 miles long. Boom, it's done. Another thing that people don't get about her force fields or her ability to manipulate this invisible energy is that energy defies the laws of physics. So, for example, she can fly through the air by continuously creating force fields in front of her. However, unlike Iceman, he has to create these cantilevered kind of things, right? Yep. It's got to touch the ground every once in a while or it's going to break. Well, she doesn't have to do that. She can just create a disc and just get on it and fly it through the air. It doesn't have to touch anything else.
Got it.
Right? So huge difference. So all in all, dude, I mean, so if you got a person that can do all this stuff, she's like Storm. She's like she can be a planetary threat. Mm-hmm. She can literally destroy the planet if she wants to. She can create a force field to encapsulate herself and go into space, contain the air, or she can literally suck all the air out of a human's body. Yeah. So she can do all kinds of stuff. Now imagine that as a psychopath. That's malice.
Okay. Damn. Makes me want to read some Malice, dude.
Right?
But I think the biggest thing, and this is what, when you had Invisible Woman as the hidden gem, I think it was last year at some point, the power set was one of the biggest things I learned, because I think partly because of her name, you think she just turns invisible.
Right.
Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. But the force fields, the way she can manipulate them, like, I didn't realize how powerful she was.
Right.
I thought she was just like, okay, she can turn invisible and she's really smart. She's part of the Fantastic Four. Yeah. But she's a badass character.
She's badass, dude. Radar. She can emit waves of this invisible energy to detect things that she can't naturally see.
Yeah.
Right. She can explode stuff. The internal damage stuff. She can see cosmic rays, dude. She got. You probably see this in technology where, like in Star Trek, we picked up their warp signature or whatever. She basically can do that. She can identify and track cosmic energy through space. So, I mean, she can do a lot of stuff. And you can see the maturity over the years. And I think Malice was the turning point for this comic character. So, I mean, and I'll do this periodically. Like if I find out some new stuff, like the Flash. We know Flash is awesome, right? Yeah. But he's a speedster. But did you know he takes naps while he's so fast he can take naps while he sleep.
Yep.
He can beat a teleportation machine across space.
Right.
I mean, or Iceman. I mean, I thought Iceman was the biggest bitch. I'm like, why is he even a character, right? But this dude, he can literally crack the earth in half if he wanted to. Like I said, he could be on one side of the earth. He has some kind of, it's basically a planetary awareness where if he's connected to any type of water or ice, and by the way, he can also be an opposite of projecting ice, he can manipulate fire. So he can be on one side of the earth and he can reach out, and anything that ice and water touches, he can know what's going on in those areas. So as these characters develop and as they you dig deeper into their powers, you find out just so much more about them. Yep. Now, El Diablo is probably the weakest one I've went over in the last year. But you know, I'm hoping that later on he'll come up with something else other than what he.
Now wait, you said Flash can do what when he's running? Take naps?
Take naps.
What's crazy about that is when I watched that movie, I was able to take naps during the movie. Yes. So it's like he passed the power over to me.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I wasn't running. I was sitting and I was taking naps. That's how bad it was. But so we talked a little bit about Marvel Rivals. Invisible Woman, Miss Fantastic were added beginning of this season. Thing and Human Torch will be added at some point. I think the seasons last like 3 months, so I would say probably in a few weeks we'll add them. I've not had the time to play as much as I would have wanted to over this past weekend, Adrian, because, work and only comics and things, children and family. It's just, it takes up time, so.
Which is why you haven't seen Purple Rain. I get
exactly
it.
Right. Yes, that's exactly right. So I did play a few matches. I would say that a lot of what you're talking about from her power set, you see in her abilities. So Invisible Woman in the game is a strategist. I learned I was saying strategist, which is wrong. It's actually strategist. So, I don't even know how to talk.
Coach? The minions?
So she's a strategist, but which means she's a healer. So she has this like kind of projectile thing that, and I've not learned the ability completely. It's like a lot of the characters that have a projectile they throw. It heals your team, does damage to the other team, but then it also comes back to you, and I think it does additional damage or healing on the way back type shit. Almost like a boomerang type effect, but it's back and forth. She has, if you double jump, she'll turn invisible, and it's actually like legit. Then the other team can't see you until if they accidentally hit you or something, or you use one of your powers, you'll turn back again. It's only for a few seconds, but she has this force field ability to either push or pull.
Yes.
So you can, I think it may be R1 or L1, but you highlight an area, and if there's enemies in that area, if you hit one button, will push them, the other button will pull them. So you actually can pull them either to you or away. Then there's another power where it creates like a vortex that everything in that area goes right into the middle of it. So there's that. Then she has another ability in the game is she puts up this bubble almost and makes everything inside of it invisible. So think about that. You're rushing this team, right? She drops this big bubble. Your whole team's invisible. Right. You can still attack the other team. Right. They can attack you. Obviously, if something hits you, penetrates, it will hit you, but they don't know where you are. Right. So they don't have the ability to aim, or lock aim on you.
I'm wondering if her, and I didn't read this, but I'm wondering, like, in that scenario, imagine you got a whole team, right? You want to keep them invisible, but you also want to be able to attack. Now, she can attack and defend, right?
Yep.
But I'm wondering if she can make her bubbles like one way. Invisible, protect from the outside, but allow things other than her shit to go from the inside out.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Here it is right here. So Psionic Vortex is one power. Make a small area with a projectile, tap a button again, or hit an enemy with that projectile to create a small temporary single area that pulls. Okay, so you throw something, now it's there, you press it again, and it will pull enemies in there and damage them. Okay. Then the force.
That's one of her powers?
That's one of her powers in the game. Force Physics, R1. You can either, that's the shove or push. So you kind of, you throw this out there, and then if you hit one button, it drags them towards you. You hit another button, it pushes them away, which is crazy helpful in a battle, right? Like, think about if you're outnumbered, everybody's right there. You need some space. You just back them all up. There's that. She does a double jump to go invisible. And then here's the other one, Guardian Shield. You hit L2 on PlayStation, and she gives another ally a shield that floats in front of them, protects them from damage. And then her big power, her ultimate, is that she makes an invisible boundary. This is one that takes longer to recharge, but it makes a large circular area that enemies can't detect, so they don't even know that this is there. Everyone in that zone is invisible, and they heal while they're in there. The enemies, if they enter that, it slows them down. So it's a great advantage for if you're on a capture point, or even if you're moving a payload through. So her character is awesome.
Wow.
I've only used Reed like once. I didn't like him because he plays similar to Venom, and I'm not good with Venom. I've not used him much. His main attack is his arms stretch out, obviously, and punch the guy. Then he does another cool one where both arms stretch out, grabs two people, and bashes them together. And then there's another one where he almost swells up like a tank and takes some more damage. So he's got some cool abilities. I just haven't. That's not a character that fits my play style yet, so I've not really messed with him. Huh?
Sounds lame.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as cool as Invisible Woman, to be honest. Right. So, but it's cool.
Or the Human Torch, or the Thing.
That's the thing. The Thing. I can't wait to play with the Thing in the game because I do like the tank characters, and I think Johnny Storm's going to be fun as shit to play. If he's anything like an Iron Man, where he can fly throughout most of the battle, and then throw some fireballs and shit like that, he's going to be phenomenal to play. But yeah, dude, season 1 drop, and I've not played as much as I wanted to. I went on a nice streak though, I won like 4 in a row. Then I lost 2, and then I got off and just haven't had time to get back on. So
got it.
Anyway, moving on, we're gonna wrap this thing up with a little agree to disagree. I got 9 this week, Adrian. This is where I will rapid fire 9 of my opinions at you. Some people back in the day, like, Adrian agrees too much. Well, dude, you don't want them to fucking lie, right? Like you disagree. Like these shows on TV, they pretend to hate each other and disagree and yell all week long. And we're not going to do that here because we're for the people. We're for honesty and shooting y'all straight. The best part, though, is when you guys disagree and you argue and tell us all about it in the comments and say things like you shouldn't have a podcast and who are these guys? They don't know what they're talking about. And we go, oh, y'all can just fuck off.
Language.
Just kidding. We love you all. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Let's fucking go.
Number 1, Caped Crusader was better than Creature Commandos.
Disagree.
All right. Creature Commando, they both double CC. It fucking confusing me here. You guys, bring that back. Jesus. Creature Commandos was better than Peacemaker.
Agree.
Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer is the best Fantastic Four movie so far.
Agree.
All 3 Fantastic Four movies were misses.
Agree.
Chris Evans' Johnny Storm carried the first 2 movies.
Agree.
Michael B. Jordan's Johnny Storm was a huge miss.
Agree.
Michael B. Jordan should take over as Black Panther.
Agree.
Thor: Love and Thunder is the worst Thor movie so far.
Agree.
And go subscribe to the Only Comics YouTube page just in case Trump doesn't save TikTok for us all.
I agree.
Yeah. Because, it's hit or miss with these guys, So, well, that's agree to disagree. Caped Crusader. So you like Creature Commandos better than Caped Crusader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like Caped Crusader.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it was a toss-up. That was when I was like, I don't know where he's going to fall in this. And we talked a lot about the Fantastic Four, the Thor movie, and this is off my man's comment. We need to do my man justice. Yeah. We need to bring him back. And yeah, Michael B. And I love Michael B. Jordan as an actor. I think he's phenomenal. Like in the Creed movies, you ever seen those?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the last one with Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
But he was great in the first 2.
Even though bringing him back would break the 2 character rule.
Yeah.
But
that, Adrian, is how pissed off I am with them not recasting. You can break all the fucking rules in the world, Well, not all of them. Don't race swap, Black Panther. Imagine that. Like here's White Panther.
Well, they've already gender swapped.
yeah, they already did that. But I've said this and I'll say this again. You can literally just cast him as T'Challa and don't even explain it and start Black Panther 3 like Black Panther 2 never happened.
Exactly.
Have at it. Yep.
Please.
yeah, please do. Yeah. So anyways, well, that's the week, Adrian. Dude, I picked up a toy actually before we go to the White Shot. I picked up this toy this weekend. It's not really a toy. It's like a replica. You know what this is. Do you know what it is? Green Goblin. Bomb.
Oh, okay. It didn't talk, but
no, yeah, it didn't talk in the movie. But yeah, dude, we got this Marvel Legends series. You got the Millionaire back there, the Magneto helmet. But yeah, this thing now a little overpriced, dude. This thing was $40.
See,
it's like a $5 piece of plastic. You could probably 3D print one for me.
Does it open or anything?
No, it doesn't do shit. It just fucking makes noise. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It looks. I mean, it would be impractical to have. I mean, I would think they would be smaller, like for the Green Goblin to carry around.
Yeah.
I mean, you carry 5 or 10 of those. I mean, you got a backpack full.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
Stuff,
Yep. So who knows? So are you saying the math ain't right on that either?
The math ain't mathing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I guess.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a nice little. I'm just gonna roll over on the table here. But anyways, yeah. So I picked it up. I was at the Target shopping with my kids. I wanted to get some. Kids want stuff, right? And I figured, why not buy myself something, Adrian? Sure. A little self-care,
Hey, there you go.
So I bought myself something that I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do with it except for sit on this table. But anyways, but that's the week. So next week, what do we have in store next week? Well, there's no Creature Commandos to talk about, right? We are going to present this bracket, if you will, of superhero street corner fights. So we will do that. And I think that probably will be enough. And maybe we'll surprise you guys. And I don't know. Who knows?
We can't do Street Fighter, huh?
No. No, Street Fighter.
You gotta throw the corner in there.
Cooking, yeah, Street Corner Fighter. No. Nope. So, anyways, well, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Repping Cap. Are you getting ready for Captain America: Brave New World? Or
I don't know, dude.
The clock is ticking, dude. It's about a month away. So,
actually, I mean, the way they're spinning it up, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see.
We'll have to see. And we will let, as one of our friends here pointed out, good or bad, we will let y'all know. I'm looking over there. Yep. Guys, tell me what fucking camera to look. You see?
Something. We need a light. We need some lights over the camera or something.
Dude. Yeah, anyone can have a podcast,
This is work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Adrian, thanks for coming out. Man. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Like we said earlier, man, we want to send our thoughts and good vibes to anyone dealing with the disaster in California.
Right.
And we appreciate y'all checking us out. Definitely go check out the YouTube page if you're not on YouTube, if you're only finding us on TikTok, because TikTok may be going away soon. Maybe by the time you're watching this, it might be gone. Who knows? We'll make our own app. We'll call it Talk Tick.
No.
Anyways, we'll call it No Diddy.
No.
All right. You know what? I don't know. We'll call it Martha. All right. Wow. Anyways, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.